Going live. It says I'm live. I'm checked under ultra low latency, so you guys in the chat are gonna have to tell me if you can hear me, if you can hear the bard. If you can hear the bard,
Oh,
sound off.
I can hear you.
the stream will
turned on
start
my
soon.
volume for I turned on my volume for a second. I could hear you.
Yeah, there. Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear myself.
Okay, I can hear myself too. All right, cool. So it sounds like we can hear all of you guys. Welcome to everyone who is watching. This is the unofficial 200 subscriber live stream. And we're going to be doing something a little fun today. And trust me, this graphic that I worked on took forever and a half to put together. So I'm really hoping that it's gonna turn out well. And there it is.
Congratulations on 200 subscribers there, sexy.
Thank you, sir. And there's that graphic that I spent forever working on.
Oh, I mean, fair.
Huh?
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
I can see that you did it in Paint, or not Paint, Photoshop.
It's Clip Studio Paint, yes.
Is it Paint?
It's Clip Studio Paint, yes. It was super intricate. I thought for sure that it was going to be fast to make. It was not. This took so much effort. It was ridiculous. So basically, here's what it is. Each one of those blue boxes contains one of your favorite TV shows. And mine. Yeah, we're doing a top 10s list, and we're going to do it round table style. So basically, whenever you revealed which one you got, I can reveal it by removing the box. So on the far.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
TV shows are what's in the box. So on the far left we got PA. Well, I don't know. Did you have Human Head as one of your favorite TV shows?
I don't know. Did I?
As far as I can remember, no. So on the far left we have what do you call it? PA Nightmares. In the middle is me, and on the far right we have a 242.
Woo.
So, yeah, just kind of like a fun thing I kind of wanted to do is, like let's 390s kids sit here and talk about our nostalgia.
Right.
90s and early 2000s.
Is it 90s and early 2000s? Yeah, no, you're right, because what's it called? I drew the line at my early 20s, so it would be early 2000s, yes.
Yeah, no, I did too.
I stuck with like 90s, just because you said when I was a kid, and I'm like, I don't know where to draw the line, so I'm just gonna stick with what I remember watching as a kid.
Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, that's fair.
There was one TV show I almost put on this list, but sadly, I watched it as an adult. It couldn't go on the list.
There was one that I'm positive that no one living knows about except for me.
Because we have a duck.
It is super obscure.
That's fine.
Aha! Silver Threads is here.
He hits a duck.
Welcome,
Mister,
Silver
I got
Threads.
800 subscribers.
Welcome, Silver Threads. Yeah. Threads had 800 subscribers today, so congratulations.
Congratulations! That is really good.
Jerk.
That is wow. Are we?
Only him. Only him will I ever call a jerk because of that.
Okie doke. I was about to say, like, are we hating on him for it? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're totally hating on him. You jerk.
Silver Threads. I mean, how could you?
If we weren't abusing him, he would be wondering what was going on.
Yeah, he gets worried when you don't make fun of him.
Is that a thing?
Really scared.
Because I mean, like, I'm always so nice to people, and nobody ever says, "Hey, why are you not being nice to me?"
No, so, he knows that if me and PA aren't making fun of him, something's wrong.
Whoops.
Oops.
Yeah.
I thought for a second I might have revealed what's in the boxes. I was like, oh no, but thankfully I did not. So, good. How's about?
We love you, Silver.
No, absolutely, we love silver. It's almost as valuable as gold. Some of the currency is actually backed by silver.
Is it
I
still?
like silver better than yellow gold. Yellow gold is too gaudy and ugly for me.
That's true. It is a little gaudy, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
She says wearing a yellow, wearing a gold ring, but then again, it's gold and white gold. So
Yeah. I like highlighter yellow. Personally, I wear it on my t-shirts.
He
Uh,
walks
I
around
see you wearing
like
that color.
he walks around with like art in like big ass bold yellow letters, like that way everybody knows who he is.
MCT is here. Hello, MCT. And also, Kat says that Kat is also a fan of silver over gold. So, I mean, it looks like we're all in agreement here that silver's a pretty great, pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
If we ever meet Gold Threads, we're done with him, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Well,
don't.
He's been canceled already.
Yeah, we cancel
Yes.
Gold Threads. Welcome,
Replace it with silver
MCT.
threads.
We are happy to have you here. We decided to push our stream forward. That way we could all go join your stream whenever it starts. So, you know, we're happy to see you here. And hopefully, you know, you'll enjoy our picks. And by the way, everyone in the chat, if you agree with our picks, feel free to drop yours in the chat. Let us know what you're into. And if you think that any one of us has a really bad take, by all means, berate us. That's why we're here.
Please, diss us. Make us cry.
Yeah,
I'm
did,
not far
For all
from it at
watching,
any
we are all
time.
nerds, and therefore all of our picks are probably very nerdy.
yeah, diss
Yeah.
our picks, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna reveal my number 10. And I might have to zoom in here because like some of the graphics that I found as TV show titles were so tiny, like in resolution, that I'm gonna have to stretch them out basically.
Oh.
So here we go. Here's my number 10. It is Voltron, Defender of the Universe.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that's an old school blast from the past there, for everyone who's wondering. Whoops, didn't mean to do that.
It's like they from the 80s.
Yeah, almost the 80s, yes, but like where I grew up, what's it called? It was kind of. Yeah, no, it was new because we got everyone's stuff like way late. So, you know, in where I grew up, it was like a third world country, so we didn't get the 90s until like the early 2000s. So, Fearsome is here. Hey, Fearsome. Happy to see you. Yeah, I know. So,
decade behind.
yeah, so like, you know, during the early 90s, we're getting like things like Duran Duran, and we're like, oh, the 90s is such a wonderful time to be alive, you know? And it's like, everyone's like, that's been out forever. What are you talking about? It was like, we don't know what you're talking about. This came out last week.
Right? This is new to us.
10 years ago, dude. I can tell you how it ends. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, you don't you
I
dare.
will skin you alive.
So for me, you know, like Voltron was instilled a very long-lasting love of giant robot TV shows.
Right?
Yeah, you know, like five lines. They were like the original Power Rangers almost, I would say.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's probably right.
I would have probably went with like if I would have thought about going in like in my like teen years, I'd have probably went with a variety of different shows, but a lot of the shows that I have would have still been on the list.
Josie's here. Hey, Josie.
Hey, Josie.
Oh, and I didn't need to say, hey, Fearsome.
Yes. Hey, Fearsome. Which I did say, but you know, like we got like
I didn't
really
want to.
cool. Yeah, no, we're all happy to have here. Voltas V. I don't know what that is. MCT says Voltas V.
She got the 60s and the 90s. I don't know. I don't know if True Voltas V is.
I'm gonna do a quick Google search. Wait. Well, I'm happy you got some good rest there, Fearsome. She says she just woke up.
Good.
Let me see.
Sleep is good.
My internet's being super slow, so I typed in Voltas V literally 10 seconds ago, and I'm still waiting for it to load. Oh, it's a giant robot show. Okay. So yeah, MCT with the giant robot shows also. So now that you know my number 10 pick, let's see who wants to take next.
Do you want to go, PA, or me?
Sure, I'll go.
All
So
right.
I'll do my number 10 as well, which was Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
PA's number 10
Fair
is
enough.
boom. Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
So fun fact, my aunt would like bought me like the set like the actual cassette tapes of like when Will Smith was rapping,
Mm-hmm.
and got me into Will Smith like a lot.
So I gotta ask the question because it's gonna come up. Do you know the entire Fresh Prince rap?
I used to know the whole thing. I mean, if I listen to it, I could still like I'll remember it word for word, but only if I hear the beat.
Yeah. There was like what was it? Whenever I was in history class on my senior year of high school, my history teacher says these are things that define your generation. One of them was you can rap the entire Fresh Prince of Bel Air intro, and I was like, yeah, kinda. But then there was like the one where it's like, you know what heroes in a half shell are? I was like, I do know what that is.
Girl
Yes.
power,
Oh, I should have added that.
I know I didn't
right?
think
I
about
forgot
that
that
until the
show.
end. Oh my gosh.
That's fine. Don't worry. You know what? 10's very hard.
Yeah.
There was one show I wanted to put on there because I still remember it, but it was in a very short time in my life. But it was just like, but no one would know it. But then again, there's an odd one on there, anyways.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There was one that both of you had. There was two that both of you had, and that I was like, oh, that would fit in my list. But at the same time, I already have 10. I don't want to change anything.
So it's hard enough to figure out the 10 that I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
and
Right?
like which ones mean something as my childhood because I watched so much TV as a kid.
Yeah, same. I mean, like TV was like my babysitter basically. So
It was mine.
yeah, and in regards to the Fresh Prince, there's a reason. Like my sense of humor is kind of what it is, and a lot of it revolves around this show. You know.
Right?
Yeah. So
That show was so freaking funny.
it was, and you know, like, oh my gosh, I don't know, man. Like, there was a lot of it where I was just like, for example, just to put this out there, and you know, a lot of you will not be surprised by this, but you know, during my first homecoming dance, I absolutely did the Carlton. Tell me not, to, you know, try to convince me that I wouldn't. I totally did.
Fight me, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm gonna. And everyone's all like, I don't know, man. You just got your first date. You shouldn't be doing. I'm like, hey, shh. Watch.
Let it happen. Let
Uh,
it happen.
I let it happen. All right, 42. You ready?
Yep.
All right. What is your number
So
10?
I am a giant nerd, and random Carizian's gonna hate me. Star Trek Voyager.
242's number 10 is Star Trek Voyager. I'm trying to figure out where on the graphic I can put this because it's yeah. Because of how the layers work, it's not going to work well with all
Yeah,
of
right
them.
there. Right there.
Right there is perfect.
Okay.
All right, Star Trek Voyager is
Yeah,
I take it
I
away.
spelled it wrong too. Well, on the list. Don't ask. I'm dyslexic. So yes, I grew up watching Star Trek Voyager with my parents. Um, and I actually very well remember it and really enjoyed it. And a lot of people who really love Star Trek do not like this specific series, but I loved Janeway. And
I was about to
loved
say that's Captain Janeway, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
everyone, but a lot of people don't like it because it felt like it didn't completely connect with the rest. And I'm like, yeah, because they were in the Delta area. They weren't in our area. They were trying to get home, and they had to start like breaking their rules to get home, but only to a certain extent. They still didn't want to break the rules. So, and I still remember the ending really well. So this is those are one of the shows that like I really like remember as a kid, even though I think it came out as a teenager, but it's still one that I remember.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. I've only seen the original Star Trek series with what's this with Leonard Nimoy and
Yeah,
what
uh,
I always forget his name. It's
Kirk.
yeah, Captain Kirk and Spock. Those. So like the thing about it was like that show was so campy and so over the top that for a while I pictured that that's what all Star Trek would be. But things like Next Gen and Voyager were like so. I don't want to say they were grounded in reality because they weren't, but or well, uh,
Somewhat.
it's science fiction is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But so it's gonna be out there a little bit, but they were more like I can absolutely see this happening versus Captain Kirk's exploits where it's like, oh, it's an alien female, we must court her immediately.
Yes.
We must get her into my bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that became
Was he like Genghis Khan of the the space world? Was he
oh my
trying
god,
to
it wouldn't surprise me.
make heirs for every planet?
I swear, like, here's the thing. I always said, like, like now in retrospect, I'm like, I would have loved to see a crossover between the original Star Trek and Adam West Batman because the two of them would flow so well together. It would just be like one of those things where it's like, this is a terrible train wreck, but I'm fascinated and can't look away.
But I can't look away at this train wreck.
The episode of that where one of the aliens comes back to the ship with a baby, and it's like, this is yours, take it.
Kat has a point. It works for Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series too, because that's exactly. Want to say hi to Seresteth, who has just joined us. Welcome to the stream, and
Hey, welcome back.
and Fearsome says that she just spilled coffee all over her pillow, which means
Oh,
that
that's not good.
that you can no longer sleep because now your pillow is caffeinated.
Oh shoot.
Now your pillow will keep you awake.
Kat was apparently a Liara fan. Me personally, it was all about Miranda on Mass Effect. But that's me though.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we're gonna move on to my number 9. Let's see. I'm trying to find where is Bard 9. There's Bard 10. All right, here's Bard 9. Boom, boom. It's Thundercats. And
No.
here we go. Haha, Thundercats.
Thundercats. Oh.
Like I said, we got the 80s at the start of the 90s. So this was another one of those, like, this is a 1984, 1985 TV show, but oh my god, like to us that was like, this is the pinnacle of animation. Oh my goodness, So like I think the only thing that we got that was 90s in the 90s was The Simpsons. That was like the only thing that
Right.
was current that we had.
So I just want to say welcome to Artzilla.
Artzilla is here. Yes, welcome. So happy to have you, Aisha.
Hey Aisha, how are you?
We are discussing our favorite TV shows growing up. Please feel free to tell us yours. And MCT says, I don't know these TV shows that I only watch anime my whole life. Here's a weird thing. A lot of the stuff that I thought was American made ended up being anime in the long run. Like, for example, turns out Voltron was. I didn't know that.
Right?
What else?
Yep.
We had Dragon Ball. I thought Dragon Ball was American made. Like the
Oh god, no, it's
like
an anime.
like the OG Dragon Ball, but it turns out that
Yeah.
wasn't either.
No, it's an anime.
what else?
100%.
We had Astro Boy and Mazinger Z, like all this stuff. Like,
Anime.
yeah,
Anime.
all of that was anime, and I had no clue in my mind. Well, I mean, I was a kid also, so I had no idea Japan was even a place. Now I know now I know it for the Wonderland Mecca that it is. But
Another one that I didn't add in that I wish, like I said, if I would have thought about it, I would have added in was Mobile Suit Gundam.
yes, Mobile Suit Gundam. By
But
the
then
way,
I watched it until I was like 16, so
I-
I was like, I don't really think I can add this in.
here's a weird one. Which one came first? Was it Voltron or was it Mobile Suit Gundam? Because I don't think Gundam was the OG giant robot anime.
Yeah, I think Voltron came first.
Okay, we're gonna have to research that. Let's
Yeah,
see.
Google.
A couple that have been mentioned in the chat right now. Seresteth says Sailor Moon, and yeah, Sailor Moon. I did watch Sailor Moon a lot when I was a kid. Let's see. Kat says Ronin Warriors, which sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Like I see it, or I hear the name in my head, like it's ringing a bell, but I don't remember. I think it was like a Fox Kids type thing. And
OG Gundam came out in 1974.
okay, so yeah,
So
I imagine it precedes it by quite a bit. And also, Aisha says, "Courage the Cowardly Dog," which is a perfect time to bring this up. Did you guys know that there's going to be a Courage the Cowardly Dog Scooby-Doo crossover?
that's scary.
I did not.
It's a thing. Look it up on YouTube. There's a trailer.
So it looks like the original Voltron came out. Hold on, I gotta take a call.
All right, go for it. Courage was a great show. I loved it.
Courage was a great show.
Yeah. Let me see here. So Thundercats is a weird one because, like I don't remember a lot of it because I was like super young when I watched it. So like in retrospect, all I remember is the guy had a cool sword. They were based on cats and they had cat names like Lion-O and Tigra and stuff like that. But oh, and they fought a mummy. But that's all I remember. Everything else is like I was a kid, honestly. But like yeah, I thought I was the bomb. So since PA is on a call, we're gonna take your number 9 next.
Okay, what was my number 9? Yes.
Your number.
My number 9
Uh-huh.
is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, a show that I only watched the pilot episode to.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
loved that show. I loved the fact that Grim was like this Jamaican guy. and
Why
Billy
was he
and Mandy-
Jamaican?
Don't ask questions. He is deaf. He can be whatever he wants.
That's true. And here's the thing. I always remember thinking to myself, that's not an accent I recognize. But in retrospect, yes, he is Jamaican.
Yes, he had a Jamaican accent. Well, it's a good thing I said it because you were like, yeah, he had a weird accent.
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh, well, of course, that's what it was. Gosh, I didn't even realize it back then.
But yeah, I loved freaking Mandy, and I loved just how freaking twisted she was. I was quite a bit older when this came out, but I remember growing up and loving this show, and just I always loved the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, it did look pretty bomb. I didn't. It had some interesting monster designs and stuff like that. Additionally, I want to throw this out there. Kat sent me the Wikipedia for Ronin Warriors, and I remember this show. I do. I didn't. I don't remember like that much about it, but I remember the look of it. This is an absolute. It almost looks like what's it called? Saint Seiya, the Knights of the Zodiac thing. But yeah. Anyway, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy recently had this one TikTok that went around for it, where they just had like a bunch of clips stitched together, and and I remember I was like, I never saw this show, but now I regret that I didn't because it's hilarious.
It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, you can go rewatch it. I mean, I'm hoping it aged well. I haven't seen it in a very long time.
All right, I'm back.
Thank you, Aisha, for the congratulations. This is the unofficial 200 sub special. We had it planned beforehand, but now that I'm at 200, we're calling it the 200 sub special.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. But by the way, PA, 42's number 9 is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
See that?
Yeah.
That was a good show. I absolutely loved that show. The deaf made me laugh so much.
Did you know his accent was Jamaican?
Yeah.
I didn't.
He didn't put it together. He thought it was just a weird accent.
I know. I was like, that's a weird accent. And
Just wait till the
To be
chat.
fair.
Here's my nerdy number 9.
all right, let's.
My number 1 is gonna be, yeah.
So my number 9 is Captain Planet.
Hold on, let me get
Oh
to
God, yeah.
PA9. Where's PA9? There it is. Aha.
Captain Planet since the first time I watched it.
Captain Planet, the show about mullets and the environment.
Yes.
I do want to say this though. The theme song for Philia, no, you're not late. We're happy to have you here. Hello.
Welcome, Philly. Welcome.
We're discussing our favorite shows from our childhoods. So feel free to let us know your favorites in the chat. I'll be calling out as many as I can as I see them. Which also Cerestet says Johnny Bravo, which is a terrible, terrible show to learn how to talk to women. Let me just put it out there.
Right.
Whatever.
Did you know? Fun fact. Did you know that in one of the episodes of Johnny Bravo, there was a picture of like planes smashing into two really tall buildings, and it said that they predicted 9/11.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
They said a video game predicted 9/11. They just ran out of graphics.
Somber is
What?
here.
Like,
Hello, Somber Puppet.
I can find the picture on Google. If you type in Johnny Bravo 9/11, there's a poster of like an airplane crashing into a building behind Johnny Bravo, and it looks like the Twin Towers.
That's so weird. What's it called? I wanted to say Somber is here, so hello, Somber Puppet. We're happy to have you
Hello,
here.
puppet.
Let us know your
Somber,
favorite.
what up?
Let us know your favorite TV shows as a kid in the chat. Let's see. Captain Planet, dude, PA, had the most banger of a theme song. I just gotta throw
Right.
that out there. That was like such a '90s, like it almost felt like Bon Jovi to me, you know?
Yeah, I loved it in the rings, but also I just need to give Somber his official greeting. Welcome, puppet boy. But yeah, dude, I love that. It was like almost it had almost like his random Power Ranger vibe where they would yell out like Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, and then freaking this dude would just come out of the ring and it was like, are you like the Megazord of Earth?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. The one thing that got me about Captain Planet is that Captain Planet was there to fight pollution, but pollution was his weakness, which like really bothered me, because I'm like, oh, that's kind of messed up. That would be like almost like every one of Superman's enemies is made out of kryptonite.
It's like, I'm here to stop pollution, but also if it gets anywhere near me, I die. So,
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, man.
pollution.
That used to bug me so much because I was like, okay, Captain Planet's here. Don't get any of that trash on him, though. That is bad for him. Although Captain Planet did deal with some heavy stuff, though. There was episodes on drug abuse. There was episodes, I think, on alcoholism. And like there was just like, man, some real heavy subject matter in there for a show about kids with magic rings that summon a Captain Mullet,
Didn't love it. But I bet when you decided you were like, I'm gonna get a list of favorite shows together. I bet you never dreamed Captain Planet would be on that list.
I didn't even think of Captain Planet. I gotta be honest.
I did not think Captain Planet.
No, it completely escaped my radar. I absolutely totally forgot about it.
But I guess I love the fact that when I said Captain Planet, Cat was like, Captain Planet, yes.
Yes, yeah. So Cat knew it, and I knew it too. It's just like it was on like at the same time as so many other shows that were along the same vines. Like gosh, what was another one? There was shoot, I remember them in my head. In Spanish, they were called the Centurions, and they had like these suits that would like that were modular, and they could always add stuff to it, so like they could fly and stuff. Like they had like one guy that could dig. He would attach a drill to his suit. It was weird, but I remember it because the art style looked a lot like Captain Planet, and yeah. But again, we got the 80s all the way in the 90s. So, I mean, like, this is stuff that I remember.
Early
like,
2000s.
Yeah.
We're
Alrighty.
late to the party, but we still got the freaking party.
Yeah, we still got the
Yeah.
party.
We
Alright.
got bad status.
Moving on to Bard's number 8. And this is one that I am positive that I will be the only one who knows. But
Okay.
that is Mobile Detective Jiban.
That looks old.
It
That
is
looks
soon.
only 80.
This is the Japanese RoboCop. Like,
Awesome, bro.
way in the 80s, yes. And so Here's the thing, it's an old tokusatsu show, so it was like from the same company that brought you things like Kamen Rider and shoot, the original Super Sentai, which is what Power Rangers were
Oh
based off.
God. Yep.
So dude was like a guy who had like a, I don't know, super technology police badge that would transform him into this robot detective. And the robot detective had like a laser gun and like a super powerful sword, and he had like this robotic Knight Rider car. It was the weirdest thing ever, and I was like, yeah. As a kid, I was like, this is so cool. The man turns into a robot and then he kicks crime. It's great.
As an
But
adult, you're like,
as an adult, I was like, wow, this is so campy. It makes Power Rangers look like the pinnacle of seriousness. Um,
that made something.
I know. So it's like, wow. But yeah, it was wild. I want to say hi to AK Phoenix, who just joined us.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, wife. How are you?
You
Uh,
gotta stop stealing people and making them your wife. Seriously. Okay.
Hey, I only call AK my wife. Okay, I only have one.
I thought you called Josie wifey.
No,
I call
best
Josie
bestie.
Oh, that's Bestie. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So yeah, there we have it. All right, fearsome. We'll see you in a few minutes. And
Fearsome.
MCT is lurking. That's good because she doesn't want to miss out on the comedy gold that is us reliving our youth,
Our childhood.
our
All right.
childhoods. Our
Yes, we're old now. Okay. Our childhood is quite far behind us. Don't worry, I haven't let
Sure.
mine go away.
Right? Neither have I. So are you going next? Or you want me to go? AK? I mean, if you're 42.
You almost said like
Whatever
three names
name-
there.
Yeah,
whatever name you
name-
have, go right
Whatever
ahead.
name you are. Okay, so my number 8 is a show that has always been near and dear to my heart, and that is Gargoyles.
Boom.
Fucking Gargoyles. I loved Gargoyles.
Gargoyles is pretty dope. I gotta admit.
Amazing.
I remember being super into the art style when I was a kid, man. I was like, this show looks dope. But here's the thing,
Well,
like, it was only on Disney Channel. It was dark for a kid's show. It was ridiculously
It
dark.
was very dark.
There was an episode where someone got shot with a gun. And, afterwards they spend like a whole thing like, dude, she might die because you shot her, even if you didn't mean to because you weren't paying attention to gun safety. I was like, this is a Disney show. This show is made by Disney. I was like, this is wild.
It
So
didn't last
Yeah.
very long though. Sadly.
No,
and you
it
know who the
didn't.
bad guy was?
a magnificent bastard named David Xanatos.
Which was played by the guy who played Riker on Star Trek.
That's true. It
Extended
looks
cut.
looks so
Next
much like
generation.
him too.
He really did.
Oh man. Seresta says, "Happy 200 subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. It snuck up on me. I wasn't expecting it at all, actually. So like today, while I was out and about, I noticed it, and it was a happy time.
He started throwing those Pokeballs on the ground like, I don't need these anymore.
Yeah, I was
I have
catching
200 subs.
I was catching Pokemon, and I didn't realize that I reached my next milestone. It was wild. But yeah, dude, Gargoyles. It was insane.
It was such a good show.
I know. I've been trying to catch up with it on Disney Plus because back in the day it was only on Disney Channel, and you could only watch Disney Channel if you had cable.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, you could go to Blockbuster, which, by the way, here's another blast from the 90s. You could go to Blockbuster and rent them on VHS. But
Fun fact. I worked at Blockbuster for a year before they went out of business.
no, that is awesome.
Also, as the Raven Dreams worked at Blockbuster. That's how me and him like bonded real quick. We're like, bro, Blockbuster bros.
Blockbuster Bros. Oh man, you know what drives me crazy is that Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix and they didn't.
Well, they didn't know at the time what was going to happen. They had something going on. They thought they were doing good.
Yeah.
They weren't a threat at the time. And they weren't.
Then whenever they realized how big of a threat that streaming service was, they tried to do that Blockbuster like unlimited thing where you could just like they would mail you movies and then you would mail them back whenever you wanted to watch it, and then that cost them a shit ton of money, and that's pretty much what drove them under that as fast as they did.
You know, they
Yeah.
actually didn't have a bad system with it because their whole idea was, we'll mail you the movie and then you could return it at your Blockbuster location in exchange for a free rental. And I was like, hey, that's not a bad deal. The problem is Netflix was already, gangbusters with this. So it was like, oh, well, you guys were just late to the party.
And they tried to compensate too much and give away too much, which ended up costing them too much money in the long run, and they went out of business.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a mess. Somber says nothing like old Disney shows. The new stuff is disturbing for other reasons. I agree. For example, Gravity Falls is really dark for a kids show. Like if
There's a
any,
lot of Rick and Morty references in it.
there's a lot of Rick and Morty references. It's almost like if you guys have seen the mystery show Twin Peaks, it's that for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not for kids. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it's supposed to be. But yeah, no,
Also,
it's still a good show.
yeah, it's still a great show. Another one that
Adventure
like
Time.
that gets really really dark is Star versus the Forces of Evil. If you guys have ever seen that one, like the
No.
first two seasons are like nonstop comedy. I'm like, this is Disney sugar, but starting right around season 3, I was like, oh, something changed. It's almost like somebody says, hey, head writer for Star versus the Forces of Evil, you know those antidepressants that were covered by your medical insurance? Yeah, you're not getting those anymore. So it
They're writing
takes
a new show, bitch.
it takes a real dark turn really fast. It's weird. Adventure Time also has some really dark themes. Yes, you're right. Um,
It was
uh,
not meant to be a kids show originally. It was meant for adults.
oh, weird. I didn't know
They
that.
toned it down. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was originally supposed to be an adult show, and then it didn't take off or whatever, or no one wanted to pick it up, but it got turned into a kids show instead.
You know what's
So
funny is that what's it called? They apparently pitched it to Nickelodeon a couple of times, and Nickelodeon said no. And then Cartoon
yeah,
Network was like, "Hey, this is dope. Let's go."
yeah. That happens all the time though. They don't see it, or they it won't fit into what they want or whatever. So
Mhm.
and
Welcome
it
back,
was a
Fearsome.
risk. So
I feel like the reason the Cartoon Network works so well is because they just don't give a shit. They'll pick up anything, and if it pops off, they keep it. If it doesn't, they go, okay, whatever, didn't work.
Yeah, and
well, yeah,
Cartoon Network kind of can do that. The reason why is because like they're kind of like the big kid on the block whenever it comes to cartoons. So if they take a risk and it doesn't work, whatever, we're Cartoon Network. We'll keep on trucking. Uh,
and
Another one.
Nickelodeon's more for kids, while Cartoon Network does have adult stuff. So if it didn't fit for
Yeah.
kids, they can bump it up. So
That's
it does
true.
help.
That's true. And both of them had tried having like their own adult block, which, for Cartoon Network, it worked. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put stuff like freaking Family Guy. We're going to put Rick and Morty. And what else? Let's just import a bunch of anime and let's just put it on there and call it Adult Swim. And it worked. I was like, that's awesome.
See, we
Um,
didn't have that up here, so
yeah.
I live in
One,
Canada. It's different.
one last thing for Disney shows, The Owl House. It's a
Never heard of that one.
It's a new one. It aired in 2000. The first season aired in 2000. The second season's airing right now. It's
Oh,
not bad. Like as I've been watching it, I was like, "Wow, this is some of the best animation I've seen in an American production since The Last Airbender. This is really good." So, just throwing that out
Hey,
there.
so apparently, I just looked at the lists, and apparently, me and 42 literally have the same show for our number 5.
Yeah, you do. And which
So I have
speaking of,
another show that I could replace that with.
it's too
okay.
late now.
Yeah, it's too late now. The list is
You
made.
don't have to. You don't have to get the graphic. I'll just.
Okay, good. I was about to say.
I'll just say the show. Whenever we do it, I'll just say the replacement show in place of that.
Phoenix, I recommend The Owl House if you haven't seen it. It's actually really good. So 42, you want to hit us with your number 8? Or is that, yeah, that is your number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of anime, Card Captor Sakura.
Card Captor
All right.
Sakura.
So before we go on our spiel, apparently, Philia says I'm kind of quiet, so I don't know if there's a way you can turn me up a little bit, Bard.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on just a sec. Let me just get on here. Turn up old PA Nightmares up to 200% volume. All right.
Does that sound? Is that sounding better, Philia?
I hear him
Yeah.
better. I hear him better on my end.
I can Actually, he might be a little low on my end too because I had to play with things earlier today.
All right. She said yep, so we're good.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so number 8 for 242 is Card Captor Sakura, which I could only find.
Sakura.
Yeah, that's how they pronounced it in English, and apparently we're wrong. But
Oh, completely wrong. It's the 90s.
yeah, so I could.
They downplayed a bunch of stuff. Her best friend was a lesbian madly in love with her.
But they were also grade schoolers, so I'm happy they played that down.
Well, the fact that she had apparently I'm quiet too.
Hold on, I'll increase your volume. Yeah, I should have started with you guys on max volume, but here you go. You're ready.
So, but just that she was in love with her, that she had a crush on her, that her first crush. They completely got rid of that. And then the
Well,
two guys
yeah, I
were
was gonna
also
say.
supposed to be together.
Yeah, her brother and his best friend. Yeah.
They're actually boyfriend and
Amateur
boyfriend.
animator, hello, welcome. No, you've actually arrived at the tail end of our list. So we're only what is that 30% finished with our lists?
Yeah, we're only
Yeah.
on the 8 out of 10, so you're
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, we're just counting down our favorite TV shows from our childhoods. And I want to throw this out there. Apparently, a lot of the problem with Card Captors whenever it aired, which by the way, Card Captors also had a banger for a theme song. I always like.
Yes.
Yes. But what's it called? A lot of the problem with it is that apparently the network had a big issue with making a show aimed at girls that had a lot of action in it. They're like, girls aren't going to want to watch that. So they're like, let's kind of trim the episodes around so that we make it look like, Sakura and Lee are kind of like co-leads. And it's like, well, that's not what this show is. You're going to have to like really mess with it in order for like, yeah, let's do that. So
Yeah.
they kind of wanted to aim it at boys, and it just I don't know, it was weird. Or I think I have that backwards. I think it was like they wanted to make it they wanted to aim it to boys, be like, yeah, she's kind of like an action hero, but it's like you should have left it aimed at girls because they like action heroes too. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me see. Let me go look at my list. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
it is kind of one of those things where Japan, I think, is just like was ahead of its time. It's like, hey, girls can kick ass too. Why not? So yeah, it's your typical magical girl show,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. And plus, the cards look so baller. I'm like, they're like
Oh God, yeah.
they're like
They
tarot
were tarot
cards,
cards.
only more terrifying. I love it.
Well, they basically that's what they were based off. They were based off of tarot cards, except um and also the biggest thing, if I remember correctly, the ones who wrote Card Captor Sakura are females. It was female writers.
Yeah, it's Clamp.
And they wrote Chibi or
Uh,
Chibots.
Chobits, yeah, they wrote
Chobits.
Chobits and what is it, Angelic Layer, and their big one
Tsubasa.
recently, Tsubasa Reservoir
Yeah.
Chronicle, yeah.
And then XX Honix, which were those two were together. They
Yes,
were actually both being written at the same time. And
That's
to
right.
get the full story, you had to watch both. You had to listen to both or read both.
right,
But
right.
yeah, no, it was all women, and it's like, yeah, you tell these women what girls want.
I know. I'm
I
like,
think
they're
they
like,
know what they.
so like, I don't think you understand what the female demographic is all about. And they're like, well, we're a team of females. I think, are you not understanding? It's kind of a weird one. Oh man.
Yeah,
But
I think I broke Amateur's heart when I told him I hate SpongeBob.
SpongeBob was good.
it was all right. I didn't enjoy SpongeBob
It
as much.
hurt my brain. Okay, let me preface this with I don't do stupid humor. I don't like stupid humor. I like snarky, intelligent humor. So I actually find like a lot of English shows with dry humor actually quite funny.
Hmm.
So dumb humor, I my brain just goes, ow, I don't get this. This hurts. Why is this funny?
Mhm.
Also, what's up, Rando?
Rando, you
Rando!
missed my number
Yeah.
10. That would have made his eye twitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her
so,
number 10 was
just
Star Trek
for-
Voyager, so you know Rando.
Yeah, Star Trek Voyager, Rando. That was her number 10. So,
Oh, you get plus
You're
10
welcome.
respect, PA.
awesome.
Yes.
I'm earning points here. I didn't know I was gonna get points. I now feel like a winner.
Well, let's see.
Rando.
Let's see how
Don't
many
worry.
points my number 7 gets me. And yes, Rando's like not having it. Here we go. Number
Oh,
7,
yeah.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
You represent the 80s, man.
I know, I know. I was like, I promise I'm a 90s kid, but like I don't know. All my tastes were in the 80s.
It's
Um,
because you were stuck a decade behind us.
I was stuck a decade behind. Yeah, whenever I moved here, I mean, like I was like, look, I never. Gamma's here. Hey, Gamma. Never.
Gamma.
I never clicked with the kids in my home country. I always felt like an outsider. And whenever I moved here, I was like, oh, these are my people. However, my tastes were way like in the 80s, and everyone over here is like talking about stuff like that was current, and I was like, I don't know what any of this is. So I was like,
Excuse me while I go find Pokemon. Be right back.
yeah, right. But yeah, He-Man, like um yeah, I mean, like this show is about as 80s as it gets.
Oh god, yes.
um
He-Man screams 80s.
By the
sure.
power of Grayskull!
It's like some weird Conan the Barbarian analog. There's magic swords. There's dudes riding tigers. I mean, this is like what's it called? Robert E. Howard's wildest
Favorite
dreams come to life. And I do have to say this. You guys probably, please let me know if you've ever noticed this, but apparently the standards for what was aimed at kids in the age that this came out in were so strict that He-Man had a sword, but he was never allowed to hit anyone with the sword or even punch them. So a lot of the times He-Man wins against his enemies by outsmarting them.
Which is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, they were allowed to use their weapons. After that, they're like, yeah, they can have their weapons, but they're never allowed to use them and hurt anyone. That's why they never use their weapons in
That's
the
true.
next two Star Trek or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And it was so
Also-
weird to me.
Also, I would just like to point out, I'm pretty sure He-Man was the start of the sexy cat lady thing.
Yeah.
Who was the sexy cat lady in He-Man?
Wasn't there like a cheetah lady?
No, I think
are
that
you-
was
That was
Thundercats.
Chitara in Thundercats, I thought.
So Thundercats was the start of the sexy cat lady.
Yeah, Catra existed in She-Ra, the Princess of Power, but I don't think that what's it called? She was a He-Man character.
Well, all I know is the '80s birthed the sexy cat lady fetish.
Yeah, they did, and I'm ever so thankful to them for it. All right, PA, you ready for your number 7?
Yes, my number 7 is a favorite of mine. Boy Meets World.
Boy
Oh,
Meets World.
yeah.
Anybody who says they don't like that show is lying to themselves.
It
My
was such a
favorite
good show.
character was the teacher.
Mr.
was-
Feeney.
Yeah, Mr. Feeney!
fucking
Mr.
awesome.
Feeney!
Oh my gosh.
I'll still watch that show as an adult and go, "Yep, I love this show still."
This was like the definition of wholesome. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's like so many life lessons in Boy Meets World where you're just like, oh, my heart. And like Mr. Feeney, just as a teacher, like in my life as a student, I wish that I would find a teacher like that.
Yeah.
So that's it's kind of a fun watch. And here's what I'm gonna ask you guys. Did Eric get dumber as the show went on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, he did.
I remember watching the later seasons wondering to myself, like, wait, wasn't Eric just like the good looking pretty boy? Like I never remember him being kind of dumb, but like end Eric, like final season Eric versus first season Eric is categorically different. It's almost like a completely different person.
Yeah, they kept changing his writing, which is
Yeah.
the problem.
I got you.
Take care, Matthew.
All right, see you later, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew, see you later. Yeah, but I just love this show. Sean, I liked him.
Yeah.
I'm honestly kind of sad that that actor didn't really do anything after that show because I was like it wasn't like the character that I loved. I really enjoyed that guy's acting, and I was just like, oh, he didn't do anything after.
He was in a horror movie recently.
Yeah, Cabin Fever or something like
Cabin
that.
Fever. Yeah, that's right. But yeah,
Yeah,
what's it called? Rando brought up the good looking guy song that Eric sang that one that one episode where he's like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for a living. I'm just gonna be that good looking guy. I was like, oh my god. But apparently you and Fearsome have a lot of common favorites, PA. Um, something else to yes, Josie. Boy Meets World did deal with a lot of heavy topics. Also,
Yes.
there was one episode where
even
Sean was dealing with alcoholism. I think I remember.
yeah.
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 Even as a kid, I had like one of those like apparently according to somebody recently, I have a philosopher's soul with the way I write. So apparently, as a kid, I still had that because a lot of the shows that I watch are like have like really deeper meanings than I
Yeah.
you know. You at first you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, cool, and then you look at it, go back as an adult, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, like because that's the thing is like there's a lot of stuff that oh my gosh, like for and a lot of the heavier subjects kind of hung around Sean when you really think about it, because there was also the thing about how his parents kind of like were flighty. They had a tendency to just leave, and so
Mm.
it deals with a lot of his abandonment issues. And I was like, dude, this was kind of heavy for one of those shows, and I feel like a lot of the life lessons kind of stick with me.
We'll go back to my number 10. We were talking about how like Fresh Prince was all like lighthearted and funny, but there was that one episode
There was a
like
couple
that
actually
where
with him
well,
too.
there's that one episode where Will and
And
his
Carlton,
uncle.
oh
Well,
no,
it was that one where Will and his uncle were like at it, and it was about his dad, and he was just like,
Yep.
oh
he's
yeah,
like, what doesn't he love me?
that one
Yeah.
scene that's become
Ouch.
super popular lately. Yeah, it shows up all the time, dude, on like Instagram and TikTok. People just keep like reblogging it because it's a really powerful scene.
You just go, ow, my heart, man.
I know it. All right, 42. You ready for your number 7?
Sure. My number 7. I hope you got the right one because there's a few. Spider-Man in the 90s.
I did. I got the right one. Behold the graphic.
But
Yes.
This
I think
is
that is the right one.
this is Spider-Man from the 90s. Yes.
Yes. It
Yeah.
was specifically the one that was half cartoon, half computer animated. I watched that thing so much. I loved that show.
I remember the transitions where it was like supposed to be him swinging through New York City, and it's all computer rendered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good
Oh.
stuff.
Took
Also,
them forever to make it, but
yeah, I want to also throw this out there that this Spider-Man was hit with the same restrictions that He-Man was. He was never allowed to punch his enemies. He could swing around, he could be annoying, he could web them into stuff, but he could never punch them.
he never did.
Punching was a no-no. And it was funny because, like, I think he was airing roughly at around the same time as Batman the Animated Series, and Batman could do whatever he wanted. If he wanted to punch somebody, that was fine. But Spider-Man, no,
Yes.
do not.
right.
The one with the rock intro, yes, Gamma. It was the one with the rock intro. And let's see, what's it called? Somber says, "You guys are making me realize how dumbed down cartoons were." Yes, they were.
Yeah.
And
But yet, if you look at the quality of them, you're like, what the fuck happened to animation?
Yeah.
They-
I really don't like the cheap and fast looking together ones. Even as a
Same.
kid, I didn't like them.
I know,
was like,
same.
they've really gone cheap on this, so I wouldn't watch them.
I think a lot of, I mean, because animation's gone through a little bit of a revolution, where a lot of the times now they can kind of do it. Now they can kind of do it digitally mostly.
Yeah.
The digital ones they can make super quick, and they're a lot cheaper to make. But
Like the
in
ones
the end,
that,
they
like
end up
the-
looking like crap, So I don't know.
Like the show that I always go and reference, look at Teen Titans and then look at Teen Titans Go, and then you're like, why?
Yeah.
I don't understand what happened there, man. And I've seen like a lot of things where they try to explain what the difference was or like why they decided to go in that direction. And they have never been able to convince me that that was a good call. And yeah, see you in a bit, Rando. He says he's got to go for a bit, but hopefully he can be back soon.
You gotta go because 42 hurt your heart with the Star Trek Voyager.
Let's see. Ophelia says that maybe it was a network specification, and that might be true. I think Spider-Man was originally on the Fox network, and I think Fox kind of had like a few limits with that. If I'm not mistaken, Batman was airing on the WB, which probably was a little more liberal with how much violence you could get away with. Which we will talk about Batman the Animated Series later, you know, hint hint. But there was some messed up stuff that happened there, man.
Oh God, yes. Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to my next one, which I think is my number 6. And you know, feel free to agree or disagree with me here, but Mighty Morphing Power Rangers.
No, I agree. It was a really good show. It just didn't
Yeah.
reach mine because I watched a lot of it, but actually I watched a ton of it. But it I don't know, it didn't when I went back to my childhood and thought of my childhood, it wasn't one of the first things that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power Rangers was weird in that it's a bastardization of so many shows. Because
God, yeah.
what they did is they took clips from the Super Sentai show and they just
With permission.
yeah, with permission, of course, and they stitched them together with some American actors doing, you know, like their scripted stuff.
Mhm.
And you know, they just called it a brand new thing, and they just it was weird, it was wacky, and by the way, if we're talking about the 90s, the aesthetic for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the OG season, was ridiculously 90s. I mean, like, you can't get more
Oh
90s
God,
than
yeah.
that. They were color coded. The kids wore clothes coded to the color of Ranger that they were.
Yep.
Yeah, they straight up.
You could tell.
They straight up did.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of things from see in a bit, AK. A couple of things from Kat. The reason Spider-Man wasn't allowed to punch is because Spider-Man actually has super strength, which is true. So,
Yes.
comparatively to Batman, who's just a dude at peak human physical capacity, Spider-Man can actually like lift cars like it's nothing. So maybe, yeah,
They literally punch your head off your shoulders if you put all this force into it.
that's right. Spider-Man could probably punch a hole through somebody if he wanted to.
Also, I agree with Amateur. He said Barney scared him as a kid. Barney is a creepy son of a bitch.
Barney is kind of terrifying. I never watched, and I'm happy I missed that completely. And also, Gamma, Power Rangers is a cheap version of Super Sentai. It's a hand-me-down Super Sentai, is what I like to consider it as. Because basically what they did is they just, like, they got Super Sentai at a bargain, and then they just patched it so that it was, like, more easily aired on the States.
Yeah, I remember the evil witch, her you could tell she was dubbed.
She
Her
was
voice too
super
loud.
dubbed, yes.
Right.
She was super dubbed. Oh my gosh. Spill it. Best girl, Kimberly or Trini? Um,
Kimberly.
Everybody says Kimberly. I
She
I
was
wanted
like
to be the
she was like every kid's like first crush on from TV. It's like a true fact.
I don't disagree.
Not mine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Kimberly. I was gonna argue Trini just because I thought that the saber-toothed tiger was cooler than a pterodactyl. But yeah. Okay.
But to be fair, I mean, when she changed, she became a guy. So
That's true.
Yeah,
Because
right.
yeah, because it was like
it was a guy.
because the Super Sentai Yellow Ranger was a dude, but they
Yeah.
were like, we gotta diversify because, you know, diversity. And so I was like, yeah, so like let's make the Yellow Ranger a female. And they're like, wait, isn't it a dude in the Japanese? They're like, hey, they're wearing a helmet. You'll never know.
Right? You'll
Yeah,
never know.
'cause
It's
there's
fine.
a giant ball. I did not realize it as a kid. Not at all.
Yeah, no,
Only
like
the Pink Ranger wore a skirt.
I didn't think about it until just now when or whenever you brought it up. But now, yes, in retrospect, I'm like, I totally see it. Yes.
Yep, it was a guy.
All right, 42. You scarred me, so your number 6 is next.
So before you do,
Uh,
Gamma says Spider-Man pulls his punches, which Doc Ock discovers on the comic when he takes over Peter's body. He punches a guy's jaw right off, and Peter earns his respect in the sentence of a superior Spider-Man.
That's very true. There was a whole story arc where they even changed the name of the comic from The Amazing Spider-Man to The Superior Spider-Man, where Doc Ock was dying from cancer. And he tricked Spider-Man into a trap where he would actually like take over Spider-Man's mind. He would transfer his mind over into Spider-Man's body, and Spider-Man would eventually fade out, leaving Dr. Octopus as the new Peter Parker, right? And whenever the transfer was complete, he decided to kind of continue on with the Spider-Man persona. And he started learning so much about like how much effort Peter Parker put into just being a genuinely good guy, that towards the end it was kind of like this weird thing where he's like, I don't know, man, I don't think I did a good thing here. And yeah, there was like this whole thing where he starts realizing Spider-Man's extremely powerful. I don't know how we ever get away. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Spider-Man should have beat us up.
Yeah, Spider-Man
All
should have
right.
torn us to pieces. It's wild. But yeah, the Superior Spider-Man. It's an interesting run. If you guys have a chance, I highly recommend it. But
In the vein of superheroes,
your number
my
6.
number 5 is number 6.
Yeah.
Yes. Is X-Men. I have the right thing on the thingamajiggy, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's X-Men, 90s X-Men.
Oh god, I love nice X-Men. Oh,
Have
I
you
had to make sure I put this on because my avatar looks like freaking.
Yeah,
it looks
earlier
like a storm.
I remember that from earlier when you were messing around with the different blending modes on your stream. I was like, "Oh, it does look like Storm." I didn't think about that.
Yeah, my
But
character. Not on purpose. Didn't do it.
right. So, 90s X-Men was a wild ride.
Oh god, it was.
It was.
Hold on. I just saw this. The Yellow Power Ranger has an amazing makeup brand. I didn't even know there was a Yellow Power Ranger makeup brand.
I didn't either. That's a
Neither did
new
I.
one for me.
Welcome to Fear the Great White. He just arrived.
And Simp is here as well.
Oh, Simp is here. I didn't see Simp. But he's just dropping by to say hi. So we say hi, and we're happy to have had you here.
My two favorite X-Men have and will forever always be Gambit and Iceman.
Is it because they're the suave ones?
Well, I always liked Iceman's powers. Like I like whenever he goes into that full just ice form is just badass.
Mm.
And then again with and then Gambit just has that ability where he can just make things explode on will, and then he is a badass staff work. So like it just like both their powers are just so different, but they're so freaking cool at the same time.
I think that what's it called? Gambit also has like some mild mind control too, if I'm not mistaken. It's not like a mind control, but it's like a mind influence. Where if he asks you something, you're more inclined to say yes. And I don't know like where I read that, but I think that's something that I saw recently.
I recently learned because I was doing research on the Iceman. I recently learned that he technically classifies as an Omega mutant because if he wanted to, what's that?
Superhuman charm is the ability.
That's the one. Yes.
There we go. But yeah, Iceman classifies as an Omega mutant because if he wanted to, he could literally freeze the water in your body. Just think about that. Think about that for a second. How painful of a death that would be if somebody just froze the water in your body.
That's true. He also, if I'm not mistaken, and this I think is on his Comic Vine what's it called, wiki, I think that Iceman can also freeze a continent, which is kind of like the reason that they were like Omega level, Omega level.
He's like, he can destroy everything.
He's like, this is the coolest continent I have ever been in.
Is this why they call it Iceland?
Hey
Oh my
everyone, chill.
Oh my god.
That's all the Mr. Freeze puns from like Batman and Robin. Which is the worst Batman movie ever. Fight me.
Mr. Freeze encounters Iceman, just goes, I've been doing it wrong my whole life.
You see, the funny part is I actually enjoyed it, but that's only because it was I like the backstory they gave Mr. Freeze, because he didn't have the backstory until that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, no,
He
because he had a backstory on Batman the Animated Series, didn't he?
Maybe it was that one that came up with it then, because
I did enjoy Batman and Robin just because I really enjoyed the Holy Roasted Metal Batman.
oh yeah, they
No,
were totally doing throwbacks to the
that,
60s.
that was Batman Forever, though.
That so much. Oh yeah, but I just enjoyed those just cheesy one-liners.
Yeah, it was good. I gotta say though, the only thing,
Yeah.
the only thing that I remember from what's it called, the '90s X-Men, is Wolverine, because I don't think they meant to make it the Wolverine show, but it very quickly became the Wolverine show.
Wolverine
Right.
takes over very quickly.
Yes,
Let's not lie.
that's true.
But it's because of his power set. He has been the oh shit button for Marvel for a very long time because he's so hard to kill. When they put something out there that they can't kill, here's Wolverine. Figure out how to fix it with him.
Right. Oh my gosh. It was the same way with the movies too. When you think about it,
Yeah.
it's the movies became Wolverine movies very quickly.
Yeah. Again, he's the OG. He's
Got it.
super easy to just take over, and because of his power set, and the fact that he has no memory.
That's true too.
Yeah.
You could do whatever
Yes.
you want with him.
Gotta say
Yeah.
hi to Timothy Duran.
Ah,
Hey.
Tim Duran is here. Welcome, Tim. And you're just in time for PA's number 6. What you got for us, PA?
Yes.
Before that, so I ran a theory by a friend, and I want to run by you guys. What
Okay.
would happen if Gambit would infuse his ability to like blow up like items into the adamantium of Wolverine, and he essentially was just a walking bomb? One of my friends theorized that would actually kill him. What do you guys think?
I don't think it
It's
can.
very hard.
I mean, he
It's
survived
very
a
hard to
nuke.
kill him.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
survived a nuke before, so I'm pretty
There's-
sure if his skeleton blew up, he'd be fine.
You have
Yeah.
to destroy every last atom of him to kill him properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it would be an interesting just tactic. Like, hey, we can't win. Hey, I got this. Infuse all of that energy into Wolverine. Wolverine just goes, hi, explodes, and just walks out healing.
I don't think he can do it to living things.
That's
That-
why he would infuse it into the adamantium instead of the actual, like, his
Oh.
actual living material. He would infuse it into the adamantium.
I see what you're saying. Fear the Great White says Wolverine is by far the coolest of the mutants, but what about Iceman?
He's definitely
Oh,
cooler.
I already said that Iceman and Gambit are my two favorite. Fear. So my number 7 is there's two of them, but they're practically the same show, and that would be Transformers and Beast Wars, because both of them just consist of giant robots kicking the shit out of everything.
That's right. Beast Wars was a 3D animation from the early 90s, which was wild.
Yeah. Early 90s or mid 90s? I think it was mid 90s.
Yeah, it was like mid 90s, I think, too. Yeah. I remember I was like 12, 13 or something whenever it came out, so that was mid 90s. But yeah, man, like I remember thinking to myself, I was like, wow, computer animation looks so weird. And now it's by and large, par for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1996.
But that show was like one of the it's like was one of the things like we experimented with something new, and now what we got is like freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
So,
was so
you
cool.
guys had it down there called Beast Wars. Up here, it was called Beasties Transformers. I thought it had a different name. I was
Beasties.
right. It was called
That-
Beasties Transformers in Canada.
That is so close to another word, and that makes me a little uncomfy.
I
It's
didn't name it.
they almost called it Besties Transformers. That's awesome.
Beastie, and all you have to do is ality Transformers, and you got a very uncomfy show.
Look, it was for kids. It was Beasties Transformers, and I freaking loved Black Widow.
Okay.
I love Raptors, so Starscream in that show is my favorite.
All I remember is that Optimus Prime was a gorilla.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So
all
they
I
had the
remember.
Cheetah. They had the Rat Trap. Megatron was a T-Rex.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all the
Starscream
dinosaurs were
was-
the bad guys.
Yeah, and then like
Kat says this show is the characters are like the personas of their transformer.
personas that are like robotic. It could still work.
Yeah, then
Is
all
Beasties how furries came to be a thing?
Yes.
Yes. no, I
Maybe,
guess,
maybe,
um,
maybe not. I'm going with
That's now
yes.
canon. Beasties is the creation of furries.
Oh my gosh.
Canon.
Except it was Sonic that was the creation. Let's not lie.
That's true because I mean,
Let's never bring Sonic into this conversation again. Thank you.
because Sonic has a huge scene in that regard. Amateur animator says Lola Bunny, which that
Oh yes.
that created some confusing feelings in 11-year-old me. I'm not gonna lie.
I put a lot of confusing feelings into a lot of people.
Yeah,
Right?
I was like, well,
It's like, should I like this as much as I do?
I know I did. What?
oh, Tim says he's got some special stuff down the pipeline for Seraphine. I'm excited to hear about that.
Ooh.
Okay, we're gonna hit number 5 here before we go down the furry rabbit hole. Ha ha ha.
I'm sorry, he's the one who brought up Beasties.
You're the one that brought up Beasties.
I'm not the one who named it. No, we were too old when that came out. No, that's why it wasn't on my list. We were too old.
No, it's. I said, hey, before I reached my 20s, Avatar: The Last Airbender came out when I was still when I was just out of high school.
And we were too old. Otherwise, it would have been on my list.
You have broken the rules.
My car was named Azula until I killed her
Oh God.
because she shocked Bill twice. Yeah, no, literally, she electrocuted and she was blue, so it just fit.
But yeah, this one started airing just as I was finishing high school, so I was like, okay, my time frame was between the time that I can remember watching TV and before I turned 20. So this one still hit my time frame. I think the finale happened after my time frame, so I'm only counting
wow,
the
yeah.
first 2 seasons. But this show,
It came out in 2005. We were graduating.
yeah, I graduated in 2005. Yeah,
Smack.
so this show is a masterclass in storytelling, and you can't tell me otherwise. Good God.
It was an amazing show.
Yes, all of the characters were so three-dimensional, with the exception of the cabbage merchant. But,
Even he was three-dimensional. Don't you play. They gave him more character later on.
they did. He founded
Hi, cabbages!
he founded Future Industries in The Legend of Korra.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. But, yeah, so, this show, man, I mean, I remember whenever I was first exposed to it, I was just getting into anime, and I had an aversion to it, almost like the Uncanny Valley, because I thought to myself, this is the US trying to make a quick cash grab off the anime hype. I did not expect that they were going to go this hard.
No, it was a love letter
They
to
were
the anime. That's what
they
it
went
was.
hard, and they were fantastic.
They went almost as hard as the Sonic fandom went into the furry community. I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
Poor Sonic, rest in peace.
I
You'll
know.
never
See,
understand him again.
this would have been number one for me.
Yeah, same. The only reason that it's so low on my list is because I was exposed to it so late.
See, I still have watched it so many times, and it's actually like severely like as much as it was late in my life, it's still one of my favorite, and really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like our chat has gone into goth girl territory. We talking about the Hex Girls and Raven from Teen Titans.
But I
Yes.
loved Raven. I
Yeah,
wanted to be Raven.
This is
same.
what
Also,
happens when
she's
you
not
sit- when you
that.
talk-
She
Got it.
wasn't that depressed in the comics.
No, she wasn't. She really wasn't.
right?
Uncle
She couldn't
Iroh Gamma says, Uncle Iroh, best uncle.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Whenever I'm having trouble deciding what I need to do, I always ask myself, what would Uncle Iroh have me do? And the answer is
So-
always be your best self. So, I mean,
So the episode, I didn't realize this at the time, but I bawled my eyes out at the stories about Bosses
yes,
Say.
the tales of
Not
Ba Sing
realize-
Se, Lord have
Not
mercy.
realizing the actor had passed away.
Yeah.
The guy who replaced him did an amazing job.
Yes,
His
no,
understudy, basically.
yeah, he was his understudy in a play, so they were like, "Hey, you guys basically, have the same voice. Just go from here." But
Yeah, because he had a major part, and I cried so hard. Like, I'm still tearing up at the thought of that episode.
oh my gosh, I gotta say, like one of my favorite scenes in the entire show is after Zuko betrayed Uncle, right? And Uncle
Yep.
was thrown into the slammer, and they took him. It took them forever to meet again. They met in the last two episodes of the finale, and Zuko walks into that tent expecting his uncle's gonna give him hell, and instead he just brings him in for a hug, and he's like, "I was never mad at you. I was sad because you lost your way." Oh my God, I was like, that hurt. I was like, oh, my feelings.
Dad, that's your dad. You just didn't know it because your dad's a piece of garbage.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh.
Excuse me while I go rip out my heart.
I was like, I can't deal with so much. I was like, holy shit.
You're supposed to be angry, not like, I love you.
I know. I was like, dude.
So my biggest problem is people like say, well, that he used to fight and all this other stuff, right? And he used to be like basically. I'm like, well, I can't blame old Iroh for that. Old Iroh was brainwashed into thinking his country was the best. And the only way to make his country, the only way to share it is they have to share it with the world because the Fire Nation's the best and they need to share it and blah, blah, blah. And he finally, when he lost his son, he finally started waking up about that. And I
Yeah.
think he was kind of awake before that because of the dragons. I don't know when he did the dragon thing.
Oh, we could get into a whole discussion into the lore of this show because I mean it's so rich. My gosh,
is.
I mean this lore is so rich. It could give $1 to everyone in the world and still have plenty left over.
Yeah.
But I mean, geez.
We'll continue on. Anyways, like I said, we were too old. This was my cutoff. It would have been on my list.
I hear you, and like it would be my number one, except I was exposed to it late, so here we are.
Yeah, I didn't have it until I didn't watch it until in my 20s.
Right.
I
Let
didn't
42
watch
take
it
the
as
next
it
one.
came out. Okay.
All
'Cause,
right.
Yeah, we have the same one, but you're gonna change it. So, my number 5 is Batman the Animated Series.
I'm just gonna go ahead and reveal both of y'all's at the same time, since somehow it ended up being the same one. I didn't even realize it until
Right.
just now. So, Batman the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series. So yeah,
Definitely both made a flash.
That's just how good that show is.
It is.
it's a good show.
My favorite character, Harley Quinn. Also, the show where they made her
This show-
literally made Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And but by the way, I just want to reiterate for everyone who's joined us since we last said this, but we're discussing our favorite shows from our childhoods. If you got some to drop in the chat, please do. I'll call them out as I see them. Um, so yeah. Uh, and Batman the Animated Series was originally on my list. I canceled it out because there was other things that I was like, these had a longer lasting impact on me than this one did. Um,
I'm sorry, but Harley Quinn is literally sitting next to my bed, next to my salt shaker from Nerdy Crafter. So she's a little big on my life.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, Harley Quinn is an icon at this point.
Hey,
You know.
hey, hey,
Yes.
you want to take your Harley for a ride?
Oh, I remember that.
Legit line from the damn show.
Oh my God.
Nice.
This show went to some dark places, though. I want to say because the things that stick with me is the creation of Clayface.
Is that where
Um,
they created it? Was from here?
no, it wasn't that he was created here. It was that he had the episode where he was made, where they made him swallow
Oh,
all that
yes.
crap, and then it mutated him.
Uh, yeah.
Then what's it called? The origin of Two Face. I remember when he was running, and Ivy was playing him, and at one
Mhm.
point he runs away, and there's that explosion, and it blasts off his face. I was like, ooh. So there was a lot in this show that was like real heavy. There was that episode of the guy underground who kidnapped children to be his slaves.
Yep.
Yeah,
This show was pretty dark.
this show went hard, and again, unlike Spider-Man on the Fox network, Batman was totally allowed to punch people.
Yes.
Yeah,
But he's just a normal guy.
yeah.
But yes, and it has my favorite Joker of all time, Mark
Mark
Hamill,
Mark Hamill
which
Joker.
I did not know that was Luke Skywalker. And to this day, if I ever walk into him, like, just do the laugh. I'll cry in fear, but do the laugh.
Yeah, no, it was so weird because like here's the thing, uh, I didn't find out it was Luke Skywalker until I was in my teens, and
I
Yeah.
didn't
I
find out till I was an adult.
I had
So,
such a hard time like putting the two together because in my mind the voices don't mesh, you know. So
yeah,
I gotta put my hats out to take my hat off to what's it called, Mark Hamill, because that is amazing. That is just wow. That is some range.
Right. And
Uh,
I always specify, I'm like, I have two favorite Jokers. I have Mark Hamill Joker for the animated series, and then I have for the live action movies will always be Heath Ledger.
yeah.
yes, he's
He,
like.
he,
I had a problem with him for a very long time because he didn't feel like a Joker to me. He felt like a clown. Like he didn't feel right. But I realized that the Dark Knight series was more supposed to be grounded in reality
right.
than what I was used to. And it took me a while. But yes, no, he did an amazing job.
Absolutely.
And also a lot of improvising. Because he was, the hospital was just supposed to blow up.
Yeah, that's right. And he didn't know. He's just like waiting for it to happen, and then when it like so that whole bit where he's like pushing the button, wondering what the hell is wrong with the remote, is completely improvised.
And it added so much to that character.
It was just like, wait, what the hell's going on?
It looks like
Okay, I'm out of here.
we're petting kitties in boxes in the chat. It looks like amateur animator is putting out kitties in boxes, and we're petting them. But also, Tim put out a couple of his favorite shows here. He says regular show, which I've never seen. I always heard it was good, but I've never seen. Uh, Teen Titans was my
Which I
jam.
agree.
What was really good. Adventure Time was really good. King of the Hill, yes. I mean, for me at least, I don't know.
I was about to say King of Canadian Hill.
Ha!
I've been doing YouTube for too long now.
Right.
The Boondocks. Have you guys ever seen the Boondocks?
Yes,
No.
I have.
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
Uncle Ruckus always made me laugh.
Same, yeah. Rick and Morty started in high school for Tim, and
He's a
let's see.
baby.
There was also amateur animator threw a couple here. He says, if high school counts, which for me it did. Apparently, I didn't make that clear. He says
It's okay. I didn't watch it till high school. Or I
breaking.
didn't watch it till I was an adult. So.
What was?
Avatar. I didn't watch it till I was an adult. I didn't watch it while it was coming out for the first season or two. So.
I see. So he says Breaking Bad. He would also say Futurama and Rick and Morty. So Rick and Morty is kind of like a really popular one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like I don't know. It's kind of it's a Dan Harmon thing, and Dan Harmon things have this weird thing where they're really funny until they get really depressing. And I think I don't know. He just has a certain style. Like for example, the show Community is a Dan Harmon property, and it's really funny up until it reaches a certain point, and then it starts getting really depressing. And Rick and Morty kind of has a lot of that too. Idiotic Synergy says Mark Hamill was the Joker in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and that's true. And I remember
Yes.
I
It was.
loved so much that they brought back the original voice cast from the animated series to
That
voice their characters in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. That was
that
awesome.
added so much to those games.
It did. I love that game. And also, that game is so good at making you feel like Batman, dude. I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I'm like, I
You know the
am
one.
beating up
You know, I,
gangsters, and it's awesome.
I couldn't get into Arkham Knight. That just the mechanics for the Batmobile were just wonky, and I'm just like, it's ruining the feel for the game. Like I just can never get into it.
JD Eads is with us. Hello. And Mark Hamill was the Joker, period. I feel that very much so in my bones. And I think a lot of people say that Kevin Conroy is Batman, period, because he's the voice of Batman.
Right? Yeah. Oh, fun fact for any Supernatural fans out there, there's going to be a Batman series. It's Batman something Halloween, and Jensen Ackles, who played Dean Winchester, is going to be the voice for Batman.
Yeah, he wanted to be Batman in the live action movie, I think, for a while, but like he kept getting passed over for bigger names, and I was like, oh, that sucks. I would have loved to have seen Dean Winchester as Batman.
That one, so it's called
Freaking-
the Long Halloween. But that one line in Supernatural where he like throws the freaking like pencil into the gun, and then he like smacks the dude in the head with a remote control, and he gets knocked down. He's like, "I'm Batman." I'm like, "Yes."
I want to make this mention because Gamma says he met Kevin Conroy and he's an awesome guy. Kevin Conroy told this story one time where he was out walking and a homeless guy comes up to him and asks him for money, and Kevin Conroy was trying to talk to him like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't," and whenever the guy heard his voice, he says, "Wait a minute, you're Batman." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "I stand in front of the TV shop watching Batman the Animated Series. I recognize your voice. You're Batman." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's me." And he's all like, "Oh, dude, you gotta do the line." And he's like, "What line?" Like, "I am vengeance." And they stand there together and do the line where they end in, "I am Batman." And the guy's all like, "Oh, I am so happy to have met you. Anyway, have a nice day." And Kevin Conroy's like, "Wait, come back." And he's like, "Here you go. Here's a couple of dollars." Like, "No, I can't take Batman's money." He's like, "Sir, I will not have you say that Batman did not stretch out a helping hand when he had the chance." So I was like, "Oh my God, that was a wild story."
That is too cool.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for my number 4?
Oh,
Yes.
well, for honorable mention, since my number 5 was
Oh,
Batman.
yes.
I would have to go with Goosebumps because
Oh, dude, I forgot about
yeah.
Goosebumps.
fucking amazing.
It was really good. It's on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Goosebumps. Otherwise, I probably would have included it here.
I forgot about Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Ah, dude, Are You Afraid of the
shit.
Dark? Yeah, that was also a really good one. That was Nickelodeon's Goosebumps, and it was super good.
Oh, I replaced that one with it. Oh, I want to. Oh, I can't anymore.
But,
But
Right.
since we both had number 5, I figured I'd take that one off and replace that with Goosebumps because, yeah.
very good one. You guys are probably gonna think that this number 4 would have been higher, and I think that you're gonna be surprised that it's actually this low. My number 4 is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the show's not that good.
Hey,
To be fair, the first season of the show was not that good. And I will agree wholeheartedly. Because the first season, they were making up the rules on the fly, because the game apparently didn't have rules whenever they were making the first season.
Well, because it's based off of It's based off a comic that only had this game in one
Mhm.
chapter of it. And it was for death or something. It was never supposed to be what it became.
That's true.
Like
But that
so
happens a lot with like because since in the Japanese manga they're made like I think weekly. So they're like making
yeah.
these chapters and then like whenever something sells really well or like the fans respond really well to it, the producers will be like or the editors will be like, "Hey, we need more of that." So it's
Sorry,
the yeah,
we did it again.
we did what?
Look at my number 4.
Oh,
Oh
you guys.
no.
That's
You gotta
hilarious.
be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Nope.
Uh, oh, Somber
You
mentions
really
the finger gun censorship. Yes. For anyone watching Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot of scenes where people will point at another person, and originally they weren't pointing. There was a gun there. But they're like,
yes.
yo, kids can't see guns. Quickly, draw a finger over that. So there's these people with these really awkward shaped fingers, and it's because there was originally a gun there.
Oh
uh,
my goodness.
but
Well, you might as well reveal it then.
yeah, let's go ahead. Yu-Gi-Oh, we all know it. We all love it. It's excellent. Let's see. So,
Yu-Gi-Oh has now been replaced by Digimon.
oh,
Like
actually,
me.
you meant PA and me had Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you and 42 had the same one. I was like, I didn't see
No,
it.
no, no, no. No, no.
Oh,
Me and you both had Yu-Gi-Oh. So
okay,
now
okay.
I have replaced it with Digimon. Fight me.
No, I mean Digimon's a good show. It really is. But since we were one thing I wanted to say is as 42 brought up, yeah, it was only one chapter. The card game was only one chapter in the manga, but apparently that chapter did so well that that the editor was like, "Hey, what are the odds that you want to make this show about a guy who's like the jigsaw killer using board games, a show about a card game that's magical?" And the guy was like, "Oh, well, I originally intended." They're like, "Great, great. Let's see more of that." So the comic eventually became about the card game, and the rest is history. Some of
Rest is
the
now a card game.
yeah,
So,
the
so we got
the
a few Digimon fans in the house.
hey, Digimon are the champions,
Hey,
and
hey, my favorite,
Digimon monsters, Digimon are the
my
Digimon.
my favorite will forever be fucking Garurumon and Where Garurumon.
uh, okay, since we're already on this subject, let's go ahead. My number 2 is Digimon, but anyway, uh,
Really?
yes, but so
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was awesome. Let's see. 42, what is your number? What is that, 4?
Yes.
All right, what's your number 4?
It is Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack! The
I
show that was
forgot
so
that
good,
show
they
was-
brought it back.
So, speaking of Uncle Iroh, I brought it back.
You brought. Oh, yeah, because he was a coup.
He was a cool.
Yes, he
the
was.
Shape shifting.
The shape-shifting master of darkness.
Darkness. A cool.
I forgot this show because I hated this show as a kid.
I
I thought it was
loved
the
this
dumbest thing
show.
ever. And then I went back and watched it as an adult. And I'm like, this is a masterpiece.
I
Dude,
love the fact they didn't use any black lines really, like that, like on the characters. Anyways, I think they did in the background.
yeah, that's right. They did them with zero outlines. I remember that was a huge talking point that they were like, we are taking the art aesthetic of this show to a new level. And at the time as a kid, I didn't appreciate it. But looking back, I was like, dude, this show was ahead of its time. Holy shit.
Right?
Yeah.
They even used that one episode where that was the advantage, where they were going in and out of light. And
Right.
the
Like where
black would
Samurai
disappear into the white, and the assassin would disappear into the black. It was really well done.
Oh yeah, apparently Jay Eads in the chat agrees with you because that is his exact comment just now. The Light Dark Ninja episode.
Yes,
Yes.
I loved it. I didn't like how they ended it, but I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, supposedly their ending was inspired by the ending of the anime Gurren Lagann, and
Oh.
I see it, like like the parallels are unmistakable.
Yeah, I haven't
But
finished that.
well, if you didn't like the ending of Samurai Jack, you're not gonna like this one. But
My husband's told me about it.
Yeah. So
It
you know,
was just right.
Helix is in the chat and he says the Outlaws beat the Shock again, which is exciting news for Overwatch fans everywhere. In other news, Samurai Jack. Uh,
Ah, cool! The shape shifting.
I just no. The reason I transitioned like that is because what's it called? Like I realized that I said that like a newscaster. I was like, in other news, Helix says the Outlaws beat the Shock again, which is exciting news for Overwatch fans everywhere.
Dun, dun.
Transferring over to the top 10s list, it appears that 242's number 4 pick is Samurai Jack.
Ah, cool! I just always have fun with that.
Yeah, it's a great show. And you know, here's the thing: it was so good that they brought it back from the dead to give it a proper ending, which I appreciate. There's a lot of
Yes.
shows
Well,
that just end in cliffhangers, and it drives me nuts because I long for closure.
well, and I mean, and they also used the same actor that they used for Iroh because he really was just using the same voice. So,
Yes,
and like you can tell the voice was slightly off. Same with Iroh, but it wasn't enough that it could take you out of the immersion of it, which was nice.
right. It's always a good plus. I mean, it's excellent stuff.
Yes, I'm very happy that that actor was able to bring closure on 2 shows.
Agreed. Same. I mean, it's beautiful that he was there for sure. All right, here we go. Number 3. We're in the top 3. You guys excited? We're bringing this to a close. And
Yes.
my number 3 will, I don't know if it'll be surprising to anyone, but I was a huge nerd for this in like my early high school career from like freshman year until like my senior year. This show was my jam. It's Dragon Ball Z.
Ah,
The
nice.
Dragon Ball Z almost made it for me. I was like, no, there's one that beats that one.
Yeah, this show was my inspiration to start taking martial arts when I was a kid. Like, what's it called? Yeah, dude. I was like, this show is dope. And the thing is, I whenever I was like a little kid, I watched the original Dragon Ball, which is categorically different from what Dragon Ball Z is, because Dragon Ball was like a
Yes.
quest thing, you know. It's like we're out to hunt the Dragon Balls, you know, and like
Yeah.
every episode they're encountering danger, you know, kind of like it's like almost like an Indiana Jones thing, which technically it's based on the old story Journey to the West. I think it's a Chinese story.
Yes. Yeah, it
Um,
is.
so it follows that structure fairly well. And I think once they reach the West, Akira Toriyama says, "All right, where to next? Now we're gonna fight." And
It's
that's
actually it's supposed to be 8,000.
it's supposed to be what?
It's supposed to be 8,000. It was
Oh,
my
yeah,
translation.
that's right. The translation was off.
That's funny.
It's over 9,000. Actually, it's 8,000. Shut up!
And
Say what I said.
Beth W. Yes, the original voice actor for both Uncle Iroh and Aku did die, and they replaced him with his understudy for a play, I think, at the time that he was in, for the remainder of both Avatar: The Last Airbender and for Samurai Jack, which was just absolutely touching.
And he reprised his role in Korra as well.
Yes, that's true. And Jay Eads, yes, what's it called? Dragon Ball Z had the most frustrating run on Toonami because they would reach to the point that they had it translated, and when they reached that, they would just start over. They would go back to the Saiyan saga, and that would, oh my gosh, nothing would frustrate me more, especially after you reach the conclusion of the Cell saga, where I wanted to see what became of Gohan because he was, he was set up to be the successor of Goku. Goku had fulfilled his arc, like as the savior of Earth. Gohan had come into his own, kind of like to take up the mantle, and I was excited to see what happened. And immediately, what happens is, okay, we get like 8 episodes of Gohan going to high school. And after we reach the conclusion of those 8 episodes, we start back. We start over. And it's like, okay, now you have to wait like a whole year for another 8 episodes or so. And you get to the World Martial Arts Tournament where Gohan is entered as the Great Saiyaman. and they're like, okay, we've reached the end of what we had translated, so back to the beginning. Oh my god. There was one more anime that they did this with, and that was Yu Yu Hakusho, and that would drive me nuts.
Oh God.
I,
Yeah.
Fucking love Yu Yu Hakusho.
it's such a
Oh
good show.
God. Yes.
And
So my husband actually has a shirt that said, "Remember 1988, City West or East or whatever."
yeah.
Yeah, and it
It-
has Vegeta and oh God, the other guy, the bald guy, both in the background. I can't remember his name right now. Nappa.
Oh,
That's it.
Nappa.
Nappa, yeah. Nappa know-how.
You still haven't seen the end of that tournament? I highly recommend it. I did what you did with Dragon Ball Z, J Eats. I went out and I got the DVDs because I could not, have peace of mind not knowing what happened, and Toonami wasn't going to give it to me anytime soon. So I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go buy the official release because I'm tired of waiting. So,
Please go support the official release.
right.
Sorry.
Who wants to reveal their number 3 next?
Well, since the last two have been like essentially duds for me.
All right, hit
Go
me
right
with
ahead.
it.
My number 3 is Highlander.
Your number 3 is Highlander.
That's not a TV show.
It's a TV
That
show.
is a TV show.
Was it a TV show? Okay,
Yes.
I only know the movie.
It's also a SUV by Toyota.
It is.
It
Highlander
bugs me
had
so
one of
much.
the-
It
What's
bugs
that?
me so. It bugs me so much that Toyota made more than one Highlander
Because there can only be
Oh,
one.
because there can only be one.
Also, yes, there was an animated series. Not animated. There was a television series, Highlander, and it had one of the most badass intros ever. Freaking Princes of the Universe, sung by Queen.
Really?
Oh, right, yes.
You're kidding me?
Yes.
No way! I did not know that.
kidding you.
I did not know that at all. That is wow.
It is amazing, and I was like, I started watching that when I was a kid, and I'm like, this is the greatest show ever.
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, it's a bunch of immortals fighting with samurai swords. What's not to love?
Right?
I do have to say I never watched it, but I know of it just because of like how just because of the internet. Basically, the internet just showered me with information on Highlander one time, and I was like, wow, this show like sounds amazing. And the thing is, I couldn't find it anywhere to see at the time, and even with streaming, it's a little difficult to get a hold of right now.
Yeah, it is. It's extremely difficult.
Hmm.
I really want to just buy it on DVD one day, but it's like so freaking expensive.
Yeah, I think it's one of those rare TV series where like just getting a hold of it is kind of a pain.
It's an elusive catch, but one of these days maybe.
Maybe. That shall only be one.
Yeah,
And
Gamma
maybe
knows
that's why
what we're
it's
talking
hard to get a hold of. Maybe there's just one of it.
about. Ha! Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
42. Hit us with your number 3.
So, I want to change this answer. I was wrong. It's
Okay.
not this one. But
So,
I will say what I originally said, but I'm changing it. So, my number 3 was originally Rugrats.
Okay.
And I do love this show. But I want to change it to Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That's fair.
That did have a bigger impact than Rugrats did. I
Okay.
forgot about Are You Afraid in the Dark? So yes, I loved Rugrats, and it was a really good show, really good kids, and actually a great way to show exactly what our parents are like, apparently. Legit.
How's
Someone
that?
did an in-depth dig on Rugrats and their parents, and it's like, yeah, these are exactly what this generation that's growing up's parents were like. Helicopter parents.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I gotta say this. Like, Rugrats was one of those shows that I watched because it was on, but it wasn't my favorite. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was that the animation to me looked... I didn't like the animation style.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
the way that it was styled... I mean, like, for example, and this is the example that I always give. Dee Dee, to me, looked wrong. Like,
I
to me, she kind of looks like Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. You know,
Which also looks like Homer.
which also looks like Homer. Yes.
But that was on purpose. They were supposed to be the same character.
Yeah,
Originally.
that's true. Originally, Homer and Krusty, yes. So, yeah, like as I didn't hate Rugrats, but for me, I was like visually, I wasn't there for it.
And Angela. You didn't like Angela.
Yeah, amateur. That's Angelica that you didn't like.
Yes. No one
Angelica.
liked Angelica.
No
Oh my
one
god.
liked Angelica. Jeez. Uh, worst part
But
about it,
anyway,
yeah, it's
we'll go on to what I actually want to replace this with, which is Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which was so amazing.
apparently a lot of their episodes were so popular that horror movies have been made using them as a base.
Oh,
Which makes
nice.
sense. They were really well done. They were very good stories. And it's like, I realized, I was like, why did I say Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like, I watched that, like, rewatched those episodes a ton and loved them and loved the horror and the scares. And oh, I loved it. Apparently, Miss Creepy Tales no Rugrats.
Somber says he's got to bounce, so have a good one, Somber. We were happy to have you
Take
here,
care.
and
Good
yeah,
day, puppet.
and
I told him I would not use that name.
Kat says I feel inspired to make a list like this of my own. I highly encourage it. All
Yes,
right.
I would work for mine. But yeah, so yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Really well done. Completely wanted to go make my own Midnight Society.
I
Couldn't do
know.
that. So
I just looked at Netflix to see if it's on there, and it's sad. I've never seen Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I don't know if you've noticed, but the whole midnight bard thing. Welcome to my campfire. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a midnight society thing. Yeah.
yes, I have
Yes.
joined it. I have found my Midnight Society. Let me tell you my scary stories. Because mine originally is actually supposed to be around the campfire.
Yeah.
Scary stories are supposed to be told around the campfire.
Exactly.
And my day stories are supposed to be told over tea.
So
What's that? Wait,
Tea.
what'd you say, Art? Whose story is supposed to be told over tea?
Mine. My day
40
stories are supposed to be told over tea or coffee, like two friends talking.
Yeah.
While my night stories are supposed to be around a campfire. That was my original idea.
Nice. So
does
you're-
anybody know
Oh,
Ruby Gloom? I don't know Ruby.
I loved Ruby Gloom. Oh, it came out a lot later in our lives. Like it was like this cute gothic show. It was so weird, and I loved it.
So
Gamma, you missed it earlier. PA had gargoyles on his list, so yeah.
yes, I did. So is it weird that 42 is supposed to be told by a campfire? You're supposed to be told by a campfire, and I'm literally fucking sitting in there in a realm with a fireplace behind me, telling scary stories.
Scary stories are supposed to be told around the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So we're all three telling scary stories by the fire.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
mine's
guess we
mine's
really have
changed.
found our midnight society.
Here we are.
Mine's changed more to a fireplace at this point because now it's I invite people to my house and sit them down and tell them stories because the mythology's changed in my story my channel since I started it. But originally that's what the plan was. So
That's funny.
All right, number
It
2.
is.
Here we go.
number 2,
PA already spoiled it for me, but yeah, my number 2 is Digimon.
Digimon, digital monsters,
Digital monsters. Digimon
Digimon
are
are
the champions.
the champions.
Digimon to me was like another one of those slap in the face shows because here's the thing, I went into it expecting Pokemon, and instead it dealt with some really hardcore dark subjects, and I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in the original Digimon, what's it called? Matt and TK, the brothers, have parents going through divorce. Izzy is adopted. What's it called? Joe has a lot of expectations put on him, so he's always stressed and trying to trying to excel in his studies, and he kind of freaks out whenever he falls behind.
Yeah.
It looked to me like maybe Ty and Kari had like a little bit of absentee parents. So I'm like, dude, like these kids all have like really messed up lives.
And then was it Mia? Was that the one that was like, really like just she was very girly. I think she came from like a wealthy family. So she would, whenever she was thrust into this world, she had like that whole well, now
Yes,
I got to learn how to survive thing going on.
Mimi. Yes.
Yeah, Mimi. Yeah, she
Yeah.
had that whole like now I got to learn how to survive in this world with without the creature comforts that I've grown so accustomed to.
Right. And here's the other thing, is so Pokemon has a very like definitive look to it. Like all the creatures look like
Hmm.
they belong in nature. They're very like very stylized to be like these could be a creature in the wild. You absolutely can see it. Digimon's like whatever, man. Put some guns on it. Like it.
Yeah.
The,
Hey,
Werewolf.
Rando.
hey, Rando's back. Welcome back. We're at our top two.
You missed Star Trek Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine,
Yeah, her whole list has just been Star Trek.
Yeah.
this whole time.
All of 242's has been Star Trek, except for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That was one of the tiers, I think.
And we
Yeah,
also
yeah.
we said they're all better, or they're all better than Star Wars.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, so Digimon was really cool. And oh my gosh, the ending to that first season where like the kids basically have to go back into the digital world after having spent some time with their parents, and their parents are now aware that they're out in a different dimension fighting monsters. And they kind of have to make like this active choice, like, am I gonna let my child walk into another world to fight monsters? And the kids are like, we're the only ones who can, and if we don't, both worlds fall apart. I was like, oh my gosh, that is like ridiculously tough. Holy crap. So it was a really wild show. And also I think I saw someone in the comments earlier mention Digimon Tamers, which also got
Yes.
really crazy. It was yeah. This show is great. And I just want to put this out there, see if you guys have noticed, but every time Leomon shows up in a season, Leomon dies.
Or Leomon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leomon never makes it to the end.
And then there's that one Numamon that just likes to throw shit everywhere.
Right. Okay, who wants to reveal their next number two?
You want to go?
Okay.
42. You.
All right,
Sure.
42.
This one, before I say this one is made in Canada, actually in Vancouver, and it was the first animated full TV show ever. It's called Reboot.
The first 3D animated, you mean?
Yes.
I was about to say, I think there was animated TV shows before it.
Sorry, I meant 3D animated. So this is Reboot. I loved Reboot.
Yeah. I never, here's the thing. It was always on Toonami, but I never actually made a thing to sit down and watch it.
Oh god, it's so out of date now, but so awesome.
I know. It looks so funky when you go back and look at it. But I remember there was a season where two characters were trapped in a different, like in a different realm or something. So,
Yeah, there's people who got stuck in the web.
yes. And so time accelerated, went by faster for them than it did for everyone else. So when they came back, they were older than when they
Yep.
were originally were. And now they had to kind of like deal with the other guys who had stayed.
That was
It was Enzo and
that
someone
was
else.
Enzo and his girlfriend. I can't remember her name right now. She's actually originally from a game.
Hmm.
He freed her in a game.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, which made me not want to play games on my computer. Because it hurts your computer when you win.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember it as a staple on Toonami, but I don't remember a whole lot more out of it. Except for one of the characters had like the whole Greek comedy and tragedy masks for a face, and I remember that used to look creepy as hell.
Andrea is
Yes.
the girl.
Right.
Yeah, she's from a game originally. That's
Gotcha.
why she had a lot of powers and stuff. My favorite character was Hexadecimal.
Hexadecimal was the one, yes.
I
Like-
loved. She changes her face.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Yes. It was a really it was a really innovative show for its time. Also Canadian, which I did not know.
Yeah, totally made
Yeah.
in Vancouver, BC.
Nifty.
Very nifty. Canada,
Yeah, I really. Yeah, and then Bob gets stuck into he goes into like he gets stuck in a game. They think he dies because he's actually their antivirus basically.
Hmm.
And yeah, and Enzo ends up finding him and yeah, and Dot and yeah. It was really cool. They didn't get to end it properly. They ended in a comic because the end of the show, um the last episode, Megabyte wins.
What?
Yes, Megabyte wins at the end. But there was supposed to be another season, but they got canceled. Megabyte
Wow.
got into the capital because he had used a Trojan horse virus. He had become a Trojan horse virus, got in, and he friggin' was winning. And yeah, Hexadecimal is his sister. If Megabyte and Hexadecimal got back together, they became a super virus that was super dangerous. It was
Wow.
originally what they were when they got there, but they split.
Gotcha, gotcha. Wow. That is crazy. So they had to finish it off in a comic?
Yeah, they had to finish it off in a comic. I need to actually read it, so
Wow.
I haven't sat down to read it. But they finished it in a comic, so
Nifty.
they brought it back as another show, but it wasn't Reboot. It was like kids going into a computer, and it was just called Reboot, and it didn't. No, I never watched it.
Yeah, I hate it whenever they change the premises to things. I'm like, hey, stick with the original premise, you coward.
I want my Bob.
All right,
Give me my
PA.
Bob.
Your turn,
Number
PA.
two.
You're number 2.
My,
Hit.
my number 2 was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That's right.
Now, I have the one from the 90s here. I have the 90s Spider-Man here. Did you mean the one where he, Iceman, and Firestar were
Yes.
teamed up? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I
That was
misunderstood you then.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Fucking
Yeah.
loved that show as a kid.
Me too. I remember that was my first exposure to Spider-Man when I was a kid.
And I never watched it.
Yeah, it was wild. They were like living together. They were roommates. Him, Bobby Drake, who is Iceman, and whatever Firestar's secret identity was. I don't remember what her name was. But it was like this wacky thing where it's like, oh, the alarm is going off quickly, everybody! Like, and then their whole living arrangement kind of like turns into like this super secret lab, and it's like, all right, jump down the chute, and when they do, they got like their costumes on, and it's like, oh, let's go fight crime. It's like. It wasn't even like something. I think it was like it aired in like the 70s or something, like the 70s or like the very
Right.
early 80s. So it's got like that
Yeah.
Scooby Doo style animation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's corny as hell, but
Yes.
I loved it.
Amateur Animator says he will be giving points based on who has the best first choice.
Oh, well, mine screams 90s.
Yeah,
That's not a lie.
mine too. If you look back far enough, but we'll see. So let
Far enough back.
And my first choice has already been heard, but I'm not gonna tell you which one it was because, well, if you know me well enough, you know you know which one it is.
Okay.
Yes.
This one might be a surprise to you guys because I don't proclaim myself to be a fan of this a lot. I'm usually the Yu-Gi-Oh guy, but this is actually a franchise that I enjoy a lot, and it's been a part of me since I was a kid, and it spawned a huge love for the series ever since. So my number 1 is Pokemon.
I was gonna say, is it Pokemon?
No, I could never tell it was going to be Pokemon. I
Right.
had no clue.
Hey.
I was listening. And I'm like, it's Pokemon. I know it's fucking Pokemon.
It's Pokemon for me. It is
See,
Pokemon.
It's funny that Pokemon isn't even on my list.
Yes.
And I have a Pikachu right next to me.
No, amateur. It is not SpongeBob.
Oh man, but yeah, dude. Like honestly, if you were a kid, like in the late '90s, this show was your jam. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere without seeing them. I mean, they were everywhere. And not only that, but I mean, like the card game that they started back then is still a thing today.
Yes, it is. It's
They-
not very good from what I've heard.
It's actually a lot of fun. I actually have a lot of fun playing it.
I just got my Volpex
Cat has given me
back. I'm
15
happy.
respect points.
I got 15 respect points. I am happy to hear it. But Philly as a fan of Cat Dog, I remember Cat Dog. That was a
Oh,
fun
I
show.
love cat dog. My
Age-old
dog
question.
is a cat dog.
Age-old question.
Uh-huh.
How does it shit?
Out its mouth. Don't ask questions.
Which mouth?
Which
Both.
one? Which one throws the sword into the straw?
No. When the dog eats, the cat shits it out. When the cat eats, the dog shits it out.
Oh, that is such a disturbing thought. That is such a disturbing thought.
The other one is they have a hole in the middle.
When the cat shits, the dog turns around and eats it, and the cat.
I'm just gonna pretend that they're defecating via sublimation, like it's just being projected as a cloud into the air. That way,
Just think
neither of
about
them
that.
has to.
Angry beavers.
Just
I
think
love
about that, though,
angry
Bard.
beavers.
Just think about that, Bard.
Mhm.
The cat shit. The cat shits. Then the dog turns around and eats the cat.
Oh,
And that's spit
gross.
out its own shit.
Oh no.
Ugh.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yes, Pokemon was everywhere in the mid to late 90s.
They're
and
still
then
making games right now, which is the crazy
they're
thing.
still making shows.
They're still making,
Yeah.
which the show, like, to its favor, the X and Y series had the best animation in the series that I have ever seen in my life, and I'm not making this up. Like, that show took the production level to a whole new plane. It was ridiculous. Not only that, but afterwards they went to like the Sun and Moon series, which the animation took, in my opinion, took a huge backseat. But they're making strides, and on top of that, I don't know if you guys have seen the new movies like Pokemon I Choose You and The Power of Us, but holy crap, they give Miyazaki a run for his money. It is ridiculous how good those movies look. I mean, like, if you haven't, you YouTube some clips. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
It's funny.
I need to preemptively say I'm sorry if you hear noises in the background. My husband just got home and my dog going crazy. So warnings.
No worries.
What's funny though?
Hmm.
Ash is still 11.
Actually, Ash is
Yeah.
13 now.
Has he
He's 13?
finally aged after what, like 30 years?
It is my theory that
20.
time runs differently in the Pokemon world.
Yes,
Yes.
it must be.
Yes.
'Cause
That's
he does talk about his past journeys with the other two.
That's right. Yeah. Misty and Brock made a comeback in the Sun and Moon series. Misty had a Mega Gyarados and Brock had a Mega Steelix, which was
where he looks like a kid his whole life.
yeah, he has
Actually,
a
like 37 or something.
he's 13 now.
Yeah. They've
Hit-
aged him up to 13.
Yeah, and like the
Finally, he aged some. Does he have a little facial hair to show it?
no, not
Yeah.
yet.
He's got something weird.
May-
There's
maybe
something
in,
weird about him.
maybe in another 20 years we'll see.
Maybe.
Right.
All right,
We're,
PA.
like,
Alright.
we're all like 90, and he's finally like 20.
5. All right, let's do PAs next.
T-Stash says that the first game he beat was the one with the Unova region, which was Pokemon Black and White, and it was a really good one.
Nice.
I've only beat one Pokemon game, and that was I Choose You Pikachu, and that's only because I would have beat Yellow if my nephew didn't delete my game as I was working on the Elite Four.
Oh,
Ooh.
damn. That's brutal.
Dang, that sucks.
But
So,
like I said, my number. Okay, good. Finish forward too.
I was just gonna say, so me beating I Choose You Pikachu was me being Yellow all those years later.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my number one has already been spoken. Has already been said in this like top 10 list. But if y'all know me, y'all know how big of a fan I am of this franchise, and it is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mighty
Totally not
Morphing Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Not like it's not like I don't have a Green Ranger figurine sitting right beside my desk, behind 3 other dragons playing the dragon flute.
That is dope.
I don't even have Pokemon on my list, and I have a Pikachu next to me. But
my top 4 are literally all around my desk. I have a stuffed Pikachu. I have a couple of Gabumons around here, and I have like Yu-Gi-Oh stuff everywhere. I mean,
well, you go everywhere. You
I have a
go is you.
So I have a blown glass dragon. I have a blue dragon that's just with a little wizard, and then I have a Popco figurine of Shinron. And in front of all 3 of those dragons, yeah, we got Tommy Oliver playing the dragon flute.
nice.
Apparently, PA got 25 respect points.
25 respect points for PA. And the Baron is here. Hello, Baron.
Welcome, Baron.
That's the same reason why I did.
Gamma
As I said,
says,
Power Rangers, the reason he got into martial arts.
yeah, same here. Power
Yeah,
Rangers was the reason I got into it.
So apparently, I
Yeah.
got 25 respect points because I got extra points for the Green Ranger love. Of course, man. The Green Ranger's what made that series amazing.
I'm still waiting for them to do a sequel to that Power Rangers movie we had a couple of years ago because they teased the Green Ranger for the sequel, and I still haven't heard anything about its production, and I want it.
Right.
Yeah, but
I did like the little at the end where they brought in like Jason David Frank and I forget who played the Pink, like what the actress's name was that played the Pink Ranger.
Oh,
But they
I
were
forget
both
her
there
name too. I forget her name too.
I don't know it either. And they can't bring back the yellow ever.
Yeah, she died in a car accident.
Yeah, shortly after.
Right. Which
is horrible,
sucks.
but
Yeah. All right, so 42, you're the last one. What's your number one?
So, my number one, if anyone could guess this, I'd be shocked because I don't really show my fandom for this. It is. Oh, wait for you to get there. Sailor Moon.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would have never
I-
guessed, honestly. Like, this was a shock to me when I saw that this is what you had chosen. I was like, really?
Yeah, no, I love Sailor Moon.
Yes, Cat Amy Jo Johnson. That's her.
Amy
that's
Jo
the Pink
Johnson
Ranger.
was her name. Yes, you're right. But, yeah, no, Sailor Moon was a shock to me, like, whenever you said that. Which, Sailor Moon is a dope show, I'm not gonna lie. As a matter of fact, there's people on the internet that argue that Sailor Moon could beat Goku because her powers in the comics are so next
God,
level. Yeah.
Well, you see, and I loved it because, like, I loved all of the Sailor Scouts, but I had a cat, and she was named Sammy because I got her before Sailor Moon. But I had a cat, and I had blonde hair, so I really wanted to be Meatball Head, and
That's great.
I totally wanted to be Sailor Moon, completely. And I need to watch Sailor Moon Crystal.
It's
because
funny.
they completely updated.
I was gonna say, like, my name on Twitter right now is Seraphine Fighting Evil by Moonlight. I don't know if you noticed, but that's what it is.
No, I had it.
But
Even by moonlight.
that song would get stuck in my head so much. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, I love that show. I did not like. I didn't like Tuxedo Mask. Like, I thought it was kind of cool, but as I got older, I totally don't like Tuxedo Mask. Like, he just comes out of nowhere and starts saving them, and like he treats her like shit because he's actually in love with her. Like,
Here's something that I gotta say that I just realized right now. You mentioned that she was Meatball Head because of the hair buns. That never dawned on me. I thought he was calling her Meatball Head because she was dumb.
it was a little bit of both, but it was because of the hair. It was because she had the buns in her hair and the hair coming down like noodles, so she was Meatball Head. That's how I always took it.
I never understood that. I was like, Meatball Head. That's an interesting. What's it called? Insult. Here's one that I have to ask. Have you watched like the more? There's this one show that's basically Sailor Moon with a lot of darkness in it.
No, I haven't.
It's
I
called.
know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. So, yeah, there's our top three. Everybody: Power Rangers, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon.
Really weird. All Japanese across the board.
Yeah, really.
I was like, Sailor Moon Japanese, Pokemon Japanese, Power Rangers pretty much Japanese.
Pretty much Japanese. It's like Japanese with some American seasoning on top.
Yeah, it's just like
Japanese.
a little seasoning.
It's American adjacent.
It's
It
American.
really is.
Yeah, but these are interesting choices. I mean, like, because all of them really are 90s centric. It really is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I loved Pokemon growing up, but again, Sailor Moon, I had a cassette of the final battle against Queen Beryl, and I watched that a ton and loved that show. Like I loved it.
Yeah, I believe it.
I
I mean,
want I
shit.
wanted to be Sailor Moon, and I wanted to find my tuxedo mask. I found my tuxedo mask.
The Sailor Moon was another one of those shows that awoke feelings in young Seraphine, and I was like, I don't know. I like this show, but I can't put my finger on why. In retrospect, I'm like,
Yeah,
I see why now. Yeah, but anyway.
yeah. Oh, I don't know how people know this, but I'm actually bi, so it woke feelings in me too.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's see. Are you talking about the show with kids and even a boy becomes a girl if they die one by one? No, I've never heard of that show. That's a weird one.
Yeah, I think yeah. There's one where the boys become girls if they become like. There's a few, what do they call this? Magical girl ones,
Oh, I
and
get points from amateur animator. Yay, I get bard points.
but yeah, no, there's a few out there that are pretty messed up.
Mhm.
Which one were you going to talk about? Which one was the name of it?
Oh, I have no. Oh, I was going to talk about Fushigi Yugi.
I think I've heard that one. My husband's told me I have to watch a few of them, and I'm like, I don't know. They'll never be Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I mean, like Sailor Moon is pretty much. Sailor Moon is to the magical girl genre what Gundam is to the giant mech genre. You know, it is the
Yeah,
granddaddy
right.
of it. Yes, and
so it's like, I don't know. It's not my. Try to remember Serena. It's not my Serena. Again,
right,
I watched it in English, so I
and
don't
that
know.
yeah, it's not my Usagi,
It's
but
not my Usagi.
and you know now that I think about it, you know technically our top threes are the granddaddies of their genre. You know, Pokemon, the collectible
Yep.
monster thing, Sailor Moon, the magical
Yep.
girl genre, and Power Rangers, the tokusatsu, you know, Super Sentai. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. We all picked pretty 90s, like 90s kids
And if
shows.
you know our personalities, they all fit
They
extremely
do.
well.
They do fit really well.
I like superheroes. What is Sailor Moon but a superhero?
It's yeah, technically. That's technically
Yep.
what Power Rangers are too when you really count them.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, that and but that and like they didn't tackle like darker issues, but they did. There were several times where like the even though Bulk and Skull were like comedic relief, they were bullies, and they were
Oh
teaching
yeah.
you how to handle bullies without actually resorting to violence.
True,
Yeah.
very true. And additionally, I want to say, Power Rangers has gone to some weird places over the years.
Really, yeah.
When Disney owned it, it was the darkest.
Which
Dude.
was, I think, like what Power Rangers Jungle Fury or something.
No, Power Rangers when they were living in a city
Hmm.
because they were the last humans.
What?
Disney owned them then. Oh god, I would have to talk to my friend. She really loves Power Rangers and she's watched everything. And it went really dark during that time.
It's really hard to picture Power Rangers being dark. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it was. It was very dark.
Oh, Bard.
Yeah.
Bard, I'm gonna send you some go to YouTube. Look up Power Rangers Unworthy. It is a fan made project, and it is dark as fuck. I'm gonna tell you what happens in the first 13 seconds.
Okay.
The Red Ranger, by Lord Draken, which is like a Tommy. The Red Ranger Jason gets his fucking neck snapped.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First 13 seconds, neck snap. I'm like,
Na-
what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, what's it called? Power Rangers in the comics is actually pretty intense. What's it called? They have Lord Draken, which is the White Ranger in an alternative timeline where he decided to go evil.
Wait, he's the White Ranger and the Green Ranger combined.
Right. So, you know, he's kind of like an evil overlord and it's kind of like super intense. And, you know, so like, yeah, Power Rangers can be dark. It's just hard to picture the TV show going there, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched I watched the first episode of that and I'm like, oh, I'm in love with this.
Yeah.
Because like
I-
it's like as an adult with Power Rangers, it's everything you want. There's
Yeah, yeah.
fast kickery and murder.
Give me my Dark Rangers,
So-
damn it.
SPD. That's
Yeah,
the one I'm
SPD.
talking about.
Power
Oh,
Rangers
yeah, I
SPD.
remember SPD.
Yeah.
That one was
Emergency.
one of the darkest ones, apparently.
Kat's got to go, so I want to say thank you to Kat for showing up.
I
And
think we should probably
with
end the
that
stream.
said, yes, we're going to be ending the stream now. So
Okay.
thank you to everyone.
Before we get, since we were talking about Power Rangers, the worst Megazord in history. I don't remember which one it came from, but there was a swordfish involved in the making of the Megazord, and it like had like a horn on its head, and instead of using it as a sword, they did like this Megazord slash, but it did like a bow, and it slashed with the horn that was on its head, and I'm like, my brain hurts. Stop hurting my show.
Oh, that's
Stop
wild.
killing my childhood.
Well, thank you to everyone who showed up to the unofficial 200 subscriber special. Thank you to PA Nightmares and 242 for sharing their favorite TV shows growing up with me, and to everyone who shared them in the comments. I have not put you guys' links in my description, but I will be happy to do that as soon as the stream ends.
Yes, because we totally need the help because we're only 100 subscribers. Totally small. You should all subscribe to 242 and PA Nightmares. We only
Absolutely.
have 100 subscribers.
If you guys have not heard of these YouTubers, you know, who are just small-time YouTubers, smaller than me for sure, I'm positive.
Yeah.
Then by all means, you know, run to their channel, subscribe. They need the help, guys, please. But no, seriously, thank you to you guys for being on the stream with me, and thank you to everyone who showed up and said what's up and shared their favorite hot takes with us.
Also, let me just say, since we're ending now, MCT is about to go live, so you guys
Absolutely.
It has gone at this point.
go over there for more live stream shenanigans.
Let's go
And
over
I
there
was
for
gonna
more live
say,
stream.
Thank you for having me and PA.
Absolutely.
Thank you, dude. It is it's been a blast. This was a lot of fun. We might have to do this again just because.
Yeah, you know what? I have a couple of different subjects in mind for the next time we do it. So
Right.
We could do movies. We could do books.
yeah, we could do
Oh
movies.
god, my book list would be so short.
My book list would all be the same books, or like books from the same series.
Ours would be. Our books would be the same, dude.
I know it'd be crazy, but
And again, anybody who knows me well enough knows what my number one would be.
Lord of the Rings.
Hobbit.
Yes, Lord of the Rings. Well,
Hobbit.
see, here's the thing. I combined Lord of the Rings and Hobbit into one because they are in the same universe. Like, it is a book series. It is not like-
So Dresden.
Yeah, like that would be like one book, like that. It's a series, like book series. Like you don't have to just like each individual book. It could be an entire series.
Right.
So,
Which
Dresden, the Alara series. That would be my list. Oh, and Harry Potter. Those are the books
My
I've
number
read,
two
but I'm
would
dyslexic.
of course be the Inheritance Cycle, which is the Aragorn
Yeah.
books because they're amazing.
yeah, I
Alright,
mean,
so we should have this stream before we get into this.
I know, right? We're gonna start discussing those.
Another 4 hours of just us talking about random shit.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you
Take
guys
care,
for coming.
everyone.
We love you all. Take care.